From the canticle of the dragon, thus began the age of despair. The roads were tangled.
The winds and the sandstorms dwelt in the husks of cities.
The plains and mountains became our home.
As the old gods lost their power, we called to the blank sky.
Into the cold, dividing gray, to the ears of new gods.
The sky is calm, silent, unmoving. We have yet to hear their answer.
Their answer.
Their answer.
Their answer.
Their answer.
We have yet to hear their answer.
It's all there in the stories, the knight on the hill, standing resolute with faith in his blade's skill. When he faces the enemy, the hero we're told, for his men he is an inspiring sight to behold. With brass dragons and dwarves, seems he may win the fight. The hero becomes legend in this age of might. But his story's just one of the many I know. In 500 years, I've learned many stories of woe. For a dwarf of my years, the stories don't change. Generals and heroes have a path prearranged, for the gods cast us all in roles saved and doomed, and I can only tell the tale that's been told. I'm a seer of tales, and I know what'll be. Why else would the gods themselves direct me? For nothing will stop me, I have to prevail. Through the teeth of a jackal, though the army should quail, with magic and trickery, if all else should fail. For all tales end. Oh, the roar of the horde and the clashing of steel. The screams of the damned ring in your ears, and you pray that your magic's enough to get by. For all tales end. Tales are warnings gods give to ring in your ears, and whatever it was you've done to be here becomes the tales of your hopes, your pains, and your fears. For all tales end. It doesn't matter if you're a rogue or a priest. Your tale is entertainment for all at the feast, and knowing the tales means you won't get fleeced. But the tales are just ghosts of men thought long deceased, and whatever the tale, the end brings release. For all tales end. Oh, the roar of the horde and the clashing of steel, the scream of the damned ring in your ears, and you pray that your magic's enough to get by. For all tales end. And whatever you'd promised, whatever your shame, and whatever the deeds you've done to acclaim, by Paladin's might, by Sirion's flame, and whatever the weave of this world you tame, on earth or in heaven, all ends up the same. For all tales end.
Visaria, you sit before a small crackling campfire just outside of your Vardo. The wagon's covered awning stretches above you, giving you shelter from a light fall of rain. The twilight horizon is dark purple and full of roiling clouds. In the distance, heat lightning flickers. You can see just above the forest canopy the coming of a greater storm on the horizon. Your song ends, but the rain continues to fall. Welcome to Nightland Prax, and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
So, tell me, right now, on this night, this twilight, what is Visaria doing? What is she thinking about?
She's wondering why she cannot find her friend. Because she knows where Nova usually is, but recently she cannot see her. And she knows where these heroes used to be, and where some of them will be. But maybe they'll be in the right place at the right time.
Would you say that Visaria is optimistic about how close she is, about her journey?
Optimism or cynicism, neither are really worthwhile. Pragmatism, that works. She put herself in the best place that she could be, and now it's time to see if it worked.
So you're sitting here under the awning. You can hear the groan of the wood of your wagon against the wind. You can feel a sweeping cold pass through this area and into the nearby trees. You know that winter is coming. It's almost here. Roll me a perception check.
That's an 18.
You've been staring at your fire for a little while, but something causes you to look over out of the corner of your eye, and you can see the flicker of lantern light through the tree line. You can hear a soft humming. You recognize the song being hummed because it's your song. It's the song that you've just sung.
That's intriguing. Didn't know I had shared that one yet. I do hope I get the royalties out of it, though.
A few moments later, you see an old dwarf dressed in muddy merchant's clothes appear suddenly, dragging his small cart around an ancient oak tree. He moves slowly towards you, humming, helped along by a gnarled wooden walking stick. As he approaches your camp, he stops to wipe some mud from his face with his sleeve, and he gives you a merry little wave. Good evening, my friend. I don't want to intrude, but I was hoping I might sit by your fire and rest my feet for a while.
Do you want to come under the cover? It'll get you a little bit drier than just next to the fire.
Oh, yes, thank you. Oh, and he starts to drag his cart slowly through the mud. He's old and he's small, and it's kind of a wonder that he manages to pull this cart along at all. You don't know how long he's had to travel, but he looks, by the appearance and how dirty his clothes are, it looks like he's been traveling for a very long time. And he pulls the cart close to yours and then lets go of it, and with his walking stick comes over by the fire, and he just kind of plops down. And when he does, his legs spread out and kick out, his arms flail back, and he just kind of relaxes into the mud there. Oh, it will be a long and cold night here in the grove. Thank you for sharing your fire with me.
Always welcome to Master Dwarf.
You can call me Albin. My friends call me Albin Shortlock Hammerfist. Glad to meet you.
Visaria.
Visaria. Oh, that's a very good name. Yes. Oh, what are you doing all the way out here, Visaria?
I'm waiting, and I'm hoping, and I'm figuring things out. I figure a friend will show up shortly.
Well, maybe one has already. What are you waiting for out here? And, well, this isn't the safest area of the realm.
But is anywhere safe anymore?
Well, not anymore. But maybe it will be again.
I have some friends that are trying to do that. And so I wait. And I'm going to try and see if I can give them at least a little bit of a hand.
That is very kind of you. These friends, who are they?
Well, I think you might know some of them. They travel a lot like you do.
I have met a lot of people in my travels, some better than others.
Well, there's my very close friend. She's a small little kender. She likes to make things go boom. It's very entertaining for
Yes.
me.
I think that I have seen her from afar, never
And
up close.
She spends a lot of her time with this very large, bull-like man, apparently. I haven't been introduced yet properly, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually.
Oh, what makes you so interested in meeting these people?
Because they bring change.
Good. Very good. This is a world that is in need of change. I hope you don't mind my asking. I've been thinking about change a lot recently. If you could go back and change anything in your life, what would you change, Visaria?
A question that I've contemplated. There are people who are dead who shouldn't be. There are people who are living who shouldn't be. But I think the only thing that I would change if there was time for change would be the number of people who know how to fix it, to give the right people the right information at the right time. But I don't like it when time gets all muddy. It's harder to see things then.
Yes, it is a tricky business, isn't it? Time, how we perceive it, how it changes. The decisions we make and the people we trust, I'm sure everybody means to do well. They don't know how their actions will have consequences. No matter how old we are, we make mistakes.
And even if you could change the one thing, it'll change everything else as well. And change who you are and where you are, and in the end is that change, at least, you can't know what'll be, you'll just know what was.
Maybe it's just my optimistic demeanor, but I do believe that in life, we try to make things better. At least we should. I think change can be hard, but also things can always be better.
I think you're right, Master Dwarf. I think things can be better. And I think some of my friends will, I'm pretty sure, I'll give them 60-40 on the bet that they can make it better.
Those are fighting odds, I'd say. But tell me, how do you anticipate finding your friends? It sounds like they are very elusive.
Well, it is very annoying. I used to be able to find them right away, and then something changed. But I will figure it out. I can see some of them still.
Well, I could talk your ear off all night, but I must be going. I have places to go and people to see and things to change. But don't give up. I think you might be closer than you think.
What did you think of the song, Master Dwarf?
Well, it's not many taverns around here or many bars, but I think it would be quite popular.
Hmm.
It has the ring of truth, as all good songs do.
Ah, that's good. It's like to know that my audience appreciated it.
Please now, I think I'm about to head off, but if you see my friends, Riordan and Rukon and Honoria and Avrin, if you see them about these woods or anywhere, please tell them that Albin says hello.
Ah, but of
And
course.
make sure you also tell Honoria to be good.
But good. All right, Master Dwarf. I'll let her know that you say to be good.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm afraid I'm off to the desert now to look for white roses. I hope I can find them.
I think you can. They usually stand out in a desert like that.
Well, good luck with your singing and with your journey. Perhaps I'll see you again. And he kind of tips his hat to you and pushes up and starts to wander over to his cart. And starting to rain a little bit harder now.
Are you sure you won't stay till the morning?
I'm afraid morning or night, I can never stay in one place for too long. Just the way I am.
Understand that. She just kind of gestures around her at the bardo that she's sitting in.
He grabs onto his cart and plants his gnarled walking stick in the mud. He begins to hum again. The song is gently out of tune, but it's unhindered by the gloom and the twilight. His demeanor is light and happy. And he starts to pull his cart off into the woods, and almost in the blink of an eye, and he's moving slowly, but then suddenly he's just gone.
Nova, you have very interesting friends.
You can make me another perception check and let me know what Visaria is doing, what her plans are for the night.
Whoops, sorry, wrong thing. 16. She's probably going to camp for the night here. She's got everything set up, and she's pretty sure she put herself in the right location based on everything she knew. Theoretically, people would be running by. Hopefully not an army, but, you know, those things are a little harder to predict. And she's pulling out the dulcimer that she has. It's wood, lap dulcimer, and it's got inlaid with a lighter wood and a darker wood on the inlay for different birds and symbols. And she just starts picking at it, thinking through the song that she just did and the others that are coming to her mind.
And there's a little bit of a melting with the plunking, the tinkling of your music that you're playing in your mind and on your instrument, and the heavier rain that's starting to come down. And there's another crash of lightning. This time it's not heat lightning. You can hear the rumble and feel the vibrations in the air. And somewhere between two of those crashes, you hear a growling sound through the tree line. Just for a moment.
Does it sound like anything she's ever heard? Like an actual animal or something?
With a 16, it sounds animal.
She's just gonna whistle out and like you would to a dog and say, "Would you like to come closer? I have some leftovers."
And you're sort of staring out. There's no answer for a few seconds. Just silence and then another flash of lightning.
You get wet, it's not my fault. I offered. And she'll just kind of keep an eye out and pay attention, because there are things that could be problematic and dangerous and eat you if you're traveling, but at the same time, she's traveled these roads and these hills by herself for a good long while now.
Roll me another perception check.
27.
You don't hear another growl, but you actually do see a shape dance between two trees, run between two trees, and you can tell that from where the sound came before, it's starting to circle around you. It was to your left, now it's to your right, and the shape you see seems humanoid, large, likely a man.
Mm-hmm.
And with a 27, I'll say that you also see the silhouette of what looks like a sword in hand.
She's just going to reach down to her side and slide the dulcimer off her lap and slide the rapier that's sitting next to her slightly out of the scabbard so it's within reach, but not making it look like she's pulling a weapon. But she's keeping an eye. And then she'll just go back to kind of humming and making it look like there's nothing wrong.
Because of your perception check being so high and because you're kind of tracking this shape, you see it finally when the attack comes.
Mm-hmm.
A hulking man wolf wearing brightly colored tunic and pants, red and orange and blue, charges from the woods from behind a tree line straight towards you, and you can see that in each of his hands, he's wielding a curved scimitar. I need you to make me an initiative roll, and because you got so high on your perception, I'll give you advantage on your initiative.
20.
All right. You will go first. So he charges from the tree line, but before he can make a few steps towards your camp and towards your Vardo, you're able to act.
She's flicks her thumb down on the blade that she's pulled partially out, and then she brings it out and whistles loudly as she flicks it at him, and she casts Bane at him.
All right. And throw that up in Zoom for me.
So he has to make a charisma saving throw.
He fails with a natural 1.
And any attack roll or saving throw is minus a D4.
D5. Yeah, D4. Great. And you're standing up now. How are you positioning yourself as he's charging towards you?
She's going to pull herself up and just, because she was sitting on the Bardo, flip over the side and try and move to put the wagon between her and the creature coming at her. All
right. And in doing so, you're able to stave him off for one more round. He runs, but it takes him time to get around and circle around to you around the side of the Bardo, so he doesn't quite get into range where he can attack you. You can see him up close now, and his clothes look very familiar to you. Who he is, you're not sure, but the clothing, the style is very familiar. You would recognize him as at least wearing the clothing of a wanderer. And he is snarling as he comes around the side of this Bardo, both swords in hand. You can see that his jaw is snapping. He's closing in on you very quickly.
I'm very sorry for you, cousin, but you're much too close to me for what I need. Would you please just, go away? And she's going to cast Shatter on him.
It's a good conversation starter. All right.
So he fails, unless he gets something really good.
He's got so it's going to be a 15 on his saving throw.
Fail. So he takes 8 thunder damage, and he's No, he's not pushed. Yeah.
All right, so describe to me how she casts Shatter.
She just
looks like.
She wears a lot of jewelry, and a lot of the rings on her hands and the earrings in her hair and the pins in her hair are, well, to anyone with an arcane knowledge, a lot more useful than would be expected. And she just kind of spins the ring on her right finger and whistles really loudly like you're gonna shatter glass. Also, because, you know, it's a dog. Wolf, man, might hurt his ears a lot more.
Very sensitive ears.
Pitches it correctly.
He does. He falls back for a second and leans against the Vardo, and he cups his ears with the pommels of his 2 scimitars, and he growls at you and says, "Give me the ring." And then he leaps at you. You still have your movement before it's his turn. Are you standing still? Are you holding your ground?
Oh no, she's ducking under the Bardo. And going, she's gonna do one of these.
You roll underneath. Make me an acrobatics check.
Okay, I can do that. Theoretically, possibly. 18.
You do. You roll right underneath the Vardo right before the sword comes down, and he jumps on top of the Vardo and runs over to the other side on his turn and jumps down. We'll say with an 18, he's only able to attack you once this turn. You're underneath still.
Yeah.
So he jumps down and gets low, and he just kind of slashes out at you with one of his scimitars. Be 26.
Minus a d4.
Minus a d4.
You know, I could get really lucky. No, it's not gonna get lucky. No. 22 is still gonna hit. 22 is still gonna hit.
So that's gonna be 10 slashing damage.
Oh, that feels a lot of pain, but you know what? I don't like him being this close. And cousin, I'm sorry, you want things that are mine, but you can't have them. So, go back to hell where you belong. As she casts Hellish Rebuke as a reaction.
Awesome. About a 19.
Yeah. But is it half damage? Yeah,
Hellish Rebuke.
so
yeah.
half damage, so 10 fire damage.
So describe her Hellish Rebuke for me.
She literally just turns and says to him, "Go back to hell where you belong. You've done so many things," and she just pushes out away from the blade and lets the blood that's pulling from her turn into fire and burn him.
And again, he growls and retreats. Each time you sting him, he pulls back, but it's not dissuading him. I actually needed to roll the 1d4 for Bane. Does that make a 17? Is 17
a 17
pass?
will save. A 17 will save.
Cool. So it's where's she going after? Oh, no, it's her turn now. That was her reaction.
That was her reaction. Well, I'm sorry, cousin. You seem to have this problem where you think that I have something that is yours, but I do not. So she's just going to cast Vicious Mockery at him and explain that dress, I'm sorry, those pants and that hat do not go with the furry attire that you've presented for everyone to see. It's a clash of horrorshness. Yeah,
it makes him mad. It makes him mad, but I think he saves.
But he still takes 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, are you staying underneath the Vardo?
Yeah, she's staying under there.
He, after recovering from the fire and from your mean words, gets down on all fours and he thrusts both of the scimitars into the ground. He begins to crawl under the Vardo. It's a little harder for him because he's large in this shape. He's not a good fit, but he is going to snake underneath of it, and you can feel his hot breath in your face. He growls again. "It belongs to Inza. It belongs to the family." And he snaps at you with his bite.
Cool. That's
22 minus 1d4.
It's gonna hit. She's gonna
20.
Yeah. It's gonna hit.
All right. That one's gonna be 18 piercing damage and 10 necrotic damage.
That hurt quite a lot.
So he gets a good hold of you with his jaw, and you can feel him tearing into your skin now as he's trying to get underneath there after you.
I can't do math at the moment. He's trying to get in there. Well, I'm sorry. You really should go away, cousin. I'm just going to say hellish that you really belong in hell. And I'm sorry, Inza doesn't have this. My sister, my mother gave it to me, not her.
Again, like you actually the hot blood that you're spraying off of him and countering him sends him back, and he pulls back out from underneath the Vardo for a second. And you're able to get away without an opportunity attack.
Yeah, she'll roll out from underneath and pull herself back up and go around the outside. Cousin, I'm sorry to do this, but I tried to be nice. I really did. But, and she reaches up and flicks one of her earrings and whistles. I know you can't see it, but the moon is still shining, at least on you. And she is going to cast Moonbeam on him.
Fantastic.
Which he has disadvantage on the save on.
He fails.
And he's forced out of his change.
Yeah. So, and it's 8 radiant damage there to him?
Yeah. And it's just sitting on him.
You can see him from around the corner of the Vardo recoil under this bright light that comes down. It splits the clouds. For a moment, the rain stops falling, and you can see the eerie red light of Nutari, the moon of neutral magic, shining down through the cloud cover. And as it hits him, he begins to writhe in his skin. His fur begins to fall out of his body in clumps. He shrinks down to his knees. And you can see after a couple of moments, his face is changed back to human. His body is changed back. He's not quite as large. He's got the long, curly, dark hair. And you recognize his face as your cousin Samuel.
Samuel, really? This is not a good look for you. Really, it's not. I mean, who did you let Inza dress you? Because we all know that she has horrible fashion sense.
Your disrespect will not be tolerated any longer, Visaria.
It's not disrespect if it's truth. I mean, you're wearing orange and purple. They don't work.
Give me the ring. I don't want to hurt you. He stands up, and he pulls both of his swords out of the ground.
I'm just gonna back up like 30 feet and turn around and say, she can't have it. Sucks to be her.
He watches you. Where are you headed? What's your goal right now?
She's going to put herself in front of the fire and put the fire between her and him at the moment.
And once you approach the fire, he steps out of the moonbeam on his turn, we'll say. And he's circling on the other side of the fire. He's almost close enough that he could dive towards you, could leap at you at any moment. And he's got a cold look in his eye.
So are you going to become a kinslayer then, cousin?
It is not my choice, Visaria.
Not seeing any compulsions, anybody with a weapon pointed at your back. I'm not seeing anything
You know what she will do if I deny her. And you know what she will do to you.
Well,
they will never stop coming.
You know, I'm sorry to do this to you again, cousin, but why don't you just stay there? And she just gestures with her hand and brings the moonbeam back on top of him.
Roll the moonbeam damage again.
Which is...
You might just be able to click on it.
Yeah, I'm just going to click on it and make my life easier. Eight.
Okay.
Interesting rolls.
He looks a little battered from this confrontation so far, but when you pull the moonbeam back on him, he recoils again. It's just for a second, and then he does leap at you. And I need contested acrobatics here
Okay.
to see if he gets one attack or two attacks.
Mm-hmm. 26.
Do you still have Bane up?
No, she dropped it for Moonbeam.
That's what I thought. So you're able to dodge out of the way as he brings the first swing around, and it completely misses. He will get a second swing with his scimitar. Be an 11.
That misses.
So again, he jumps over the fire. He takes 2 fire damage in doing so, and 2 swings of the scimitar.
Cousin, I know we like to dance, but I've always been a better dancer than you have. Also, I'm better looking than you are, and
I don't. That has nothing to do with anything.
that has everything to do with anything.
Give me the ring.
Which one? You want to come and take them? Do you know which one you want?
He honestly, like, as he's looking at your fingers, he's not sure which one he wants. Like, he probably didn't realize that you might be wearing a bunch of them. You give me all of them, all of the rings.
No.
All right, it's your turn.
I'm sorry, but this is really getting hilarious at this point, and she's just going to say, I'm sorry, and bring the moonbeam back on top of him. And say, if you would just stop and go away, we wouldn't have to have these problems. Family issues, I understand.
All right. Go ahead and roll the damage again and see how high it is.
18. That's better.
He heeds your words of advice this time, but there's that low growl in the back of his throat. And as he starts to slowly slink away from the moonbeam and away from the fire, he glances back towards the woods and he says, I hope for your sake, Visaria, that you come to your senses before it's too late. Magda is dead.
Are you going to join my sister in kinslaying then?
They have all joined her, Visaria. She is the matron of the clan now.
Well, I have a gift she does not. Well, no, unfortunately, I'm not that much better looking than she is. We are equally as good looking. But I have a lot of things that she does not, and have a nice day, Samuel.
Take care of yourself. And he sweeps around indignantly and stomps off back towards the woods.
Orange and purple is never a good look. Change it up a little bit.
He walks a little faster. And he's gone. He disappears into the trees. And you're left by yourself again. And you watch him disappear, and a couple of minutes go by, and he does not return.
She just kind of looks down and brushes some of the dirt and blood off of herself. Oh, well. Family gifts. Family squabbles. No one can hurt you quite like your family, can they?
The rain's lightened up a little bit. Now it's moving away from you. The storm, the heart of the storm. Roll me a perception check.
Oh, nat 1, which is infinitely below her passive.
What's her passive?
23. She's observant.
Oh. All right. Well, with a passive 23, I won't give you any specifics, but as the storm starts to move away and the fire's dying down and everything's changed and become calm again, you do think that you hear weeping in the woods somewhere in the distance. You're not sure if it's the sound of a hurt animal or a person.
She changes the song and starts singing another song that she wrote. It's a little sadder, but it's soothing. It's a nice lullaby. And she kind of goes back to her bardo and pulls out the dulcimer and starts playing it, almost to try and lure who's ever crying closer.
As you play into the late twilight, early night, your song, move away from Visaria now. Nova Sparkfire. Nova, you are standing at the edge of a clearing. Moments ago, you fought against strange humanoid wraiths that were paper thin, and they didn't move so much as teleport, jump from place to place in different positions. You fought and tried to protect Honoria, the wizard, and you noticed that Honoria has been greatly affected by the wraiths when they touched her. She seemed to age instantly, and she's become very weak. And then you and the others heard crying from a nearby clearing. Right now, you're standing at the edge of that clearing, and before you are your new allies, some of them on your friends list, some of them have yet to crack the top 10. You have Tanis Half-Elven and Lorana. They are kneeling before the corpse of their dragon friend, Fireflash. He was a young dragon, but now he's grown massive and old, and he's died. Tanis touches his hand to the dragon's scales, and he's weeping, but he's weeping without making noise. Near them, you can see Sir Riordan holding the little girl, Lily, in a gentle hug. Lily is the one who's sobbing loudly, and her entire body seems to be shaking. A cold winter's wind whips through the clearing, and the feeling of being alone kind of comes with it. It's a lot to take in. I'm curious about Nova. Where's her head after everything that's happened recently since her time in Lord Soth's prison?
Yeah, that whole debacle. She's glad to have made so many new friends. And it makes her a little mad to see them so disheartened and sad currently. She wants to fix it. She's a fixer. But there doesn't seem to be anything she can do at the moment to make it all better. And it's frustrating her. For sure. And then 2 of them disappeared too. So how is Alvin gonna eat? Poor girl won't even feed herself.
She's been snacking quite a bit. So what's Nova's thoughts for the immediate future? Like, what are her plans right now?
She's gotta play tour guide, get these people to where they need to go, and she's gonna let the White Rose know what's going on, because stuff has happened. A lot of stuff has happened. People are time traveling and plane hopping. It's very, very weird. It's not normal, and they need to know about it. So she's got to report in.
Nova, as you're watching this scene and just take stock of everything for a moment, a memory stirs. It's a memory of a day 12 years ago that's still so vivid that you can see it now in your mind, just as you did then when it happened to you. And you're there, standing at the edge of a white sand desert on a cliff. It's a hot summer day, hot enough that your clothes are sticking to your skin. Below you, at the edge of the desert, is a small encampment of 4 Knights of the Crown, Lord Soth's Knights. They are packing their horses and preparing to move on. A couple of them are laughing with each other about some crude joke that you just caught the tail end of, something about a donkey. Beside you, kneeling and looking down over the edge of the ridge, is Synthal. Tell us a little bit about Synthal, who they are, and what they look like, at least in your memory.
Yeah, so Nova remembers Synthal as being a brown-haired, tan-skinned elf. She typically wore her hair kind of shaved close on the sides, but in a braid down the back. A few tattoos. It's kind of what got Nova started on the tattoo trend a little bit. And at the time, Nova and Synthal were an item. So they're probably kind of real close, looking at what's going on. Synthal is being a bit younger than Nova. She's a bit more hot-headed and impatient. She hasn't quite learned how to, rein it in sometimes yet. That only comes with age, experience, and a lot of burns.
She's more impatient and hot-headed than Nova.
Yeah.
Okay.
Young elves.
So Synthal's there with you, and the both of you are looking down over this ridge to this small group of knights, and Synthal kind of taps you on the shoulder and points at one of the knights and says, "Do you know who that is?"
Don't recognize him. I don't think we haven't killed him before. So
He's I think that's Sir Jeremy. I think that's
no.
One of the Knights of the Rose. Yes.
All right. Well, we gotta take these guys out. But something's not. There's only 4 of them, and they got 2 wagons. I know one's a supply wagon, but it seems a bit. Something's not adding up here.
There's 4 of them and 14 of us. We can do this. We can do this right now.
Just wait a few more minutes. They might be meeting up with some people. And then, who is getting ambushed now?
Roll me a persuasion check.
Oh no. Oh, I'm proficient. Okay. 17.
She takes a deep breath, and she kind of looks over at you, and she says, "All right, we can give it a minute, but we can't wait too long. We have the opportunity right now."
Yep. All right.
Do you feel like?
Just gonna keep an eye on them for a bit. Why don't you
All
go check on the other half of the squad over there at that noon? Make sure they know what's up.
Just be careful.
You too.
We'll be back.
Yeah, better.
And she smiles at you, and kind of cleans her hands off on her pants and stands up, and she slinks off back in the opposite direction where the other elves are and your little band here.
Nova is just gonna. Something's not adding up in her head, right? There's 4 knights, 2 wagons. Each wagon's being pulled by 4 horses. It seems. I mean, the sand you can sink in, but it doesn't add up. She's gonna see if she can see on the horizon any other knights trying to meet up.
Yeah, sure. Give me a perception check.
Fast before Synthal gets any ideas. 10.
You don't see any other knights on the horizon. There's like a road there that's kind of on slightly elevated ground. So you're up on this little ridge. They're down, and then there's a sand dune that goes up, and the desert road that's there on the horizon. You don't see anything on the horizon or on the road currently. There's a couple more jokes and a couple more laughs, and the knight that she pointed at, who's older and his armor is emblazoned with a rose instead of a crown, stands up and he claps his hands a couple of times. You can hear his voice ring out in the summer air. Now, knights, I understand you want to have fun out here, but we are out here on official business, and we have a place to get to soon. You would do better to keep your things packed, eat and drink quickly, so we can be on our way and find these elves. The other knights don't seem to take him too seriously.
Oh, okay. They're like, psh, whatever. Makes sense. I wouldn't listen to him either. She probably mutters that under her breath. Just try to catch Synthal's eye. She's probably rearing to go.
Synthal is not to be seen.
Okay.
You can roll me a perception check if you want.
Sure. 13. Get better.
You don't see Synthal, but you do hear the murmuring of voices in Elvish coming down from around the side of the ridge. They're lower now. They're closer to the knights than before. You can't make them out from your vantage point, but they're definitely not where they were.
Moving up already. All right, she'll kind of address whoever's closest to her as well in Elvish very quietly. get ready to go. I have a feeling that they're gonna strike out soon, and you gotta be ready. Something's gonna just keep your eyes open. You know, if you see anything. She's gonna kind of get her crossbow ready. She gets some flint and steel ready, because of course she's gonna use flaming crossbow bolts.
And is she staying up on top of the ridge, or is she leaving?
She'll get to a strategic point to where she still has a good vantage to kind of overview the situation, but she'll get a little closer. Maybe like start to kind of go down on one side of the ridge.
Is she trying to do it, but like stay low and unseen?
Mm-hmm.
Roll me a stealth check.
Mm-hmm. Oh no!
You're coming down over the edge of this ridge and trying to keep low, and you feel part of the rock face give out from underneath your foot, and then a stone tumbles down. Boom, boom, boom. It rolls all the way down to the hill, bounces oddly off of the dip and the curve at the bottom of this ridge. And as it does, it bounces, it kind of launches up into the air, and it strikes the side of Sir Jeremy's helm in the back of it.
It takes all of her might not to burst out laughing. Even though that was an accident, it may have blown her cover a bit. It's still really funny.
And Sir Jeremy does spin around on his heels with a very unhappy and indignant look on his face, and he looks straight at you. And he begins to reach for his sword, and you can hear his voice call out, "Men, to arms!"
Well, hi there! She'll give a wave, nonchalantly walk forward.
Draws his sword, and the other men draw their blades too. And he takes a couple of steps towards you, and he says, "What are you doing out here?"
Oh, I'm tragically lost, unfortunately. Did you know that this desert's really big? Like, I was picturing more of a sandbox myself. Do you have any directions? Do you know where Malmany is? Yeah, I got really lost.
Roll me a deception check.
5.
Why, yes, I know where Malmene is. Here, why don't you join us, and we can take you there. We are knights after all.
Oh, I'm already feeling reassured by your strong, brave group of individuals. Just doing your best to protect the common good.
That's us.
Yup.
And he's slowly, like, taking step after step towards you. His sword's not raised, but it is in hand.
Mm-hmm. She'll just keep walking forward. And she is palming in she's left-handed. She's palming her new prototype just in case things go real bad.
You can hear from behind you, the closer you and Sir Jeremy get, the shrill, high-pitched cry, and answered by another and another, and it's the elves. It's the group
What's
of
that?
Elves. As you turn around, playing as though you don't know, you see the elves in your group. They are all mostly long-haired individuals wearing tattered armor and clothes. Most of their hair is dyed a myriad of rainbow colors, and they are sprinting barefoot, crude weapons in hand, towards you and the knights, led in the front by Synthal. And Synthal grabs the spear from the back of where it's slung over her back, and she picks it up and she throws it through the air directly at Sir Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up just a little bit short. He's been taking steps forward, and he takes one step back, and it plants into the ground. Roll me a perception check and let me know what Nova's doing here.
Sure. 6.
What's Nova doing here?
Not seeing anything. Nova is taking count of where she's going into tactician mode, where each soldier is, where each group of elves are coming from, and she's gonna take another glance at those wagons, because we were gonna try to take their supplies.
So is she trying to like climb up in one of the wagons to see what's
Yeah,
in there?
if one's close, yeah, she'll hop up.
Roll me. You can make me your choice of stealth or acrobatics here. If she wants to try to sneak past the knights as they're temporarily distracted, or if she wants to kind of.
I think she's gonna acrobatics it.
Yeah. Okay.
11.
Sir Jeremy is the only one who notices her trying to slink away towards the.
Gotta find cover. This looks
and
bad.
He is going to take a swing at her with his sword.
Yeah.
How about an 18?
That'll definitely hit.
All right, so that's going to be 8 psychic damage, we'll say, because this is a memory.
Yeah.
So he did cut you as you ran past. You were able to keep going, but he was able to cut into you, and you get to the back of this wagon, and it's entirely covered. You'll have to pull up the cover to get into it or to see.
Yeah, sure.
You can hear the elves charging. The 4 knights are all moving into formation, kind of creating a square back to back as they're ready to take this flanked attack. And right as everything sort of locks into place, you throw up one of the wagons, and you can see inside the wagon 6 more knights. They are fully armed. They all have their blades drawn, and they are standing. It almost looked like one of them, closest one to you, was about to reach and open up the back of the cover anyways. So there's just a moment of surprise.
It's like when someone's about to knock on the door and you open the door and they're like, oh.
That's right.
Yeah, I love that look. That's a great look. Okay. That's out of character, but yeah. She sees that, she's gonna say, there's a bunch more! Retreat back to higher ground!
So are you giving the order to retreat? Give me a persuasion check.
Okay. I'll use an inspiration on this, because I need to back the fuck up. I need to back away. 15.
You turn and you yell out, and all of the knights save Synthal do fall back, and they fall back, and they either draw short bows or they pull spears from behind their backs, and they're still throwing and shooting, but they're staying a little bit more out of range. Synthal is running straight for Sir Jeremy, and Synthal's drawn another spear and is kind of twirling it around, ready to spring.
Love, you gotta get back. I'm gonna use the prototype. I don't know how bad it's gonna be.
You have a moment now. These 6 knights in the back of this wagon are about to jump towards you. What do you do here?
She's not sure. She's never used this prototype before. She's gonna back away from Synthal a bit, but she knows it's at least a decent bit of range on this, and she's gonna pull out her unused, untested first wand of fireballs prototype.
All right. And what's she doing with the wand? What's her thing here?
Oh, she just activates it.
Oh, just like right there in her hand?
Yeah,
herself?
This is literally, she kind of had an idea for something that maybe makes a big fiery explosion more than a firebolt. She's never had the opportunity to test it, and she doesn't quite know how it's gonna work. So she just holds up her left hand and just...
All right. So I make me a dexterity saving throw.
Yep.
I'm gonna make one at advantage. You can have advantage on this since you know
cool.
You know what you're doing.
16.
I'll give Synthal advantage since you warned her.
Unless they spoke Elvish, they wouldn't know. So.
And we'll just roll flat for everybody else. All right. And what's the DC here?
It's a 15.
15. So Synthal saves, you save, the knights fail. So go ahead and roll damage, and we'll describe what happens.
So I think with this being her first prototype, it just uses all of it and just fizzles out afterwards. It just breaks. So let's see. Math. That sounds right. 13. I think it's 12, actually. I mean, let's just see. Let's roll this. 46 points of fire damage. Is that a 9th level fireball? I think that's a 9th level fireball. 8,
No, that's 7th level.
Okay, let's just do 2 more then. There. So 55.
So you detonate this device in your hands, and a fireball spreads outward and engulfs the wagon before the guards can get out of it. And you can hear their screams. The one who was right in front of you falls out of the wagon on fire. There's no skin left on his face. He's crawling across the ground and then stops. It blasts the other knights away. A couple of them are still up, including Sir Jeremy. It also hits Synthal, throws her back as well, but she only takes half damage. So she's starting to pick herself back up. And as soon as this happens, you watch through the smoke as the Elvish barbarians charge. And at this point, with this surprise, they are quickly overwhelming the other knights, but you feel particularly weak. You're only going to take half damage. So 55, 22 psychic damage.
Yeah.
But in your memory, in your mind's eye, you remember this moment feeling very clearly. As you're staring there, you're laying on the ground, looking through the smoke. You feel numb. And then your eyes move from this skirmish, from the battle, and down to your arm. There's nothing left beyond the stump of it. It's completely melted and turned away. You can actually see a small pile of ash there where your arm once was, the arm that held the device. And it's then in that moment that the pain hits you. Once you actually realize what's happening, you feel it, the result of what you've done.
She's kind of just in shock for a moment and goes to reach for her arm, but pulls her hand back. She goes to look through the smoke if she can to catch Synthal, make sure she's okay and has all her limbs intact still. I mean, if everybody lives to today, overwhelms the knights, I mean, the arm was worth it, but dang, it hurts.
None of the wild elves perish in brief skirmish because you gave them the warning. Synthal's hurt, but she didn't lose any limbs. She was at the edge of the blast. And it's a quick battle because you were able to take care of the 6 knights that were in the wagon. They overwhelm and kill 3 of the remaining knights and take Sir Jeremy captive. And as you're kind of numb and dazed and you're watching this happen, Synthal comes over to you and she kneels down next to you and she looks you in the eyes and then she looks down to where your arm used to be. Roll me an insight check.
Yep. 13.
You can't tell what she's thinking. She's usually the kind of person who wears her heart on her sleeve, but she seems reserved right now. And there's something cold in her eyes when she looks down to your arm. And she leans over her shoulder, and there's another elf there beside her. And she says, "Pick her up. Take her to Jerlem. Make sure they take good care of her. I'm going to remain behind to interrogate Sir Jeremy." She stands up and still looking down at you.
Yeah, Nova kind of just with her only arm now, I guess she's right-handed now, reaches out to kind of just give Synthal reassuring, kind of like it's going to be okay, kind of squeeze. And probably like the leg.
She opens her mouth to say something to you, and she looks sad for a moment and then hard again. She nods a little bit. And she doesn't reach down or connect with your hand. She just kind of steps back, turns away, and moves to where 6 of the elves have Sir Jeremy captive. And the large elf that she is speaking to kneels down next to you and reaches to try to put a hand down under your arm. And he says, "Don't worry, it's going to be okay. We'll get you to Jerlem."
Okay. Just glad you all are all right. And I think knowing that everybody's okay, she finally just lets the pain overwhelm her and passes out.
You fall asleep in your memory, remembering him lifting you into the air and beginning to move, remembering the pain. Even now, the memory of how you lost your arm, it boils inside your veins when you think about it. And you stand there for a moment, forgetting that you're at the edge of this clearing, that everything else has happened as you kind of remember this. You're lost in that memory for just a few moments. Rookon, you see Nova standing there at the clearing's edge with a strange, distant look in her eyes. You see Sir Riordan and the weeping girl Lily, who's still gripping her wooden sword in one hand. I want to know right now, after everything's happened, Rookon, what's going through your mind?
He's relatively confused. He's wondering where these paper-thin wraiths came from. He's wondering how they were able to affect things as they did, and he's exploring the implications of what that means for the future.
Where's Rookon's ambition, or maybe ambition's the wrong word, goals right now? After escaping Sauce Castle, after traveling this far, after finding out about this future?
He's aiming to assist in the betterment of the world coming from such darkness. He's kind of encapsulated with his last conversation with Agatha. There's a lot of darkness pulling from a whole bunch of directions, and if it all ends, he wants it all to end for him around the people that he cares about the most.
And who are the people that he cares about most? Who does he hold close to him right now?
His companions, Riordan, Nova, Honoria, recently grown a fondness for Agatha, and they're all taking turns occupying time in his mind. Avrin, Sabria, all vying for spots in his psyche.
You're watching this scene and you can see again Lily, the little girl's crying a little less loudly now as Sir Riordan's just kind of hugging her, holding her. A cold wind passes through the edge of this clearing, Rookon, and on it a whisper that is familiar to you. Rookon, have you changed? Have you found your path, Rookon?
He kind of lets it sink in and shakes it off as he kind of takes it in stride with the whispers that he's just been hearing and repressing.
Do you think that you will be a father now? Is that the game you play?
It kind of permeates the outside of his being for a moment, and then he tries and struggles and pushes that back out, trying to reason that these voices won't affect his behavior.
I know what you did on the Blood Sea, Rookon. I know what kind of monster you are. Cursed by the Wanderer forever. A monster that has forsaken his only friend in the entire world. Oh, poor Hezgronath. How broken he is because of you. Your betrayal has driven him mad, Rookon.
That one cuts deep, and you see him kind of let it get to him, and he struggles to kind of maintain control of those thoughts. And then he lashes out and punches a nearby tree. And out of fury, he yells and then realizes what he's doing and catches his breath, cuts the yell short, takes a deep breath, and starts to wander further away to get everything under control.
Your heart is pounding against the inside of your chest. You can feel your knuckles aching from having struck the tree so hard. And that wind moves past you as you begin to step away. And as it moves past you, it has one last whisper for you.
Do not worry, Rokon. You will see him again soon. For you too are mad, and all madmen come to me.
And then he just rises, furrowed brow, says to nothing.
We shall see. We shall see.
The wind moves on. The whisper's gone for now. And you're slowing your heartbeat down. Just out of sight of Nova and Sir Riordan and Honoria. Sir Riordan and Honoria, you stand in the clearing. Riordan, Lily's sobs are beginning to calm now, and you can feel her wooden sword tapping against your armor, the leg plate of your armor as it dangles from one of her hands. Honoria, you're exhausted. You are exhausted from your encounter with these strange wraiths. You sputter up a cough, and you feel as though you've been struck by some sort of incredible illness or flu. The cold wind whips through the clearing, and you see Nova there, standing at the edge. You see Rokon yell something and stomp off into the tree line. And then there's quiet, and in the quiet and sorrow of the moment, most of our companions are together again.
I'm just gonna lean against a tree, staff kind of propped in front of me with one hand and clutching my spellbook in the other. Long, shallow breaths being taken as I watch this child cry.
Gon moves to Honoria.
You were right. What did they do?
Does my spellbook look affected at all?
No, your spellbook is fine. However, if you were like early mid-20s before, you've aged 20 years instantaneously. It's noticeable in her face, dark circles in her eyes, wrinkles where there were not wrinkles in her skin. Her hair has partially changed color, Rokon. She looks far from all right, and beyond looking older, she looks incredibly unhealthy.
Do you need to eat?
Shake my head. I need rest. I need rest, friend.
Sir Riordan. Lily's stopped crying now. You can still hear her shallow breaths, and she is gripping tightly onto you, as tightly as she can. You can tell that she's putting as much muscle into this embrace as she possibly can, but she's starting to fall a little bit. Her legs are starting to give out.
He will just scoop her off the ground and stand up, taking the weight and allowing her to kind of rest against his chest plate as he holds her with a bent elbow. He's just staring at the dragon. And he looks at Tanis. Has Tanis aged?
Not that you can tell. Neither has Lorana. Just the dragon. Dragon's eyes are staring dead straight up into the air. And Tanis right now has a hand on one of the dragon's scales, and be on its chest. And he's just kind of staring at that scale. Lorana herself is kneeling down next to Tanis. They're both kneeling, and she's not quite touching him, but she has that look of someone who wants to reach out.
He would try to lean his head into Lily's in a pseudo-confidence. He's not trying to hide his words, but he's doesn't want to interrupt the moment. The bond between Ryder and Dragon is intimate. It is a marriage of land and sky. Rare, very rare. Ever so hard to say goodbye. It is right to be sad.
And she sniffles a little bit, and she wipes at her nose with her sleeve, and she kind of looks up to you. Her eyes are puffy and red. And she doesn't speak very often, but just very quietly, she says, I tried to protect him.
Of course you did. He was trying to protect you as well. In this life, when we protect, it ends this way, if we're lucky. With people that we have saved that remember us, if we're lucky.
You can see a few more tears come out of her eyes. She nods her head in understanding, and you believe that she understands what you're saying. And she says one more thing very, very lightly. Just like my father. She nods her head again.
Exactly like your father. And he'll just stand there in silence.
No, but you kind of come back to the scene out of your memory, standing there. You can feel your arm ache. It's that kind of phantom pain.
That phantom pain. Yep. She's got a good bit of that going on. So she's probably grimacing, kind of looking at Lily, looking at Tanis, the dragon, kind of mutters under her breath, I know what that look is. And she's just going to kind of take a few steps off. And she's just going to shoot a few fire bolts into the snow. She's just frustrated and hurting.
Roll me a perception check.
Sure. A nat 1.
Cool.
Great. Yeah.
She's mad.
She's mad. Yeah, she's just gonna shoot
the fire
us.
bolts are. It melts the snow. It also scorches and destroys the ground, but does melt the snow.
That's
Tanis and Lorana whisper to each other a little bit, and Tanis stands up and walks off into the woods, not far. He just kind of goes off partially behind a tree. Lorana stands up and looks at you, Honoria, where you're there kind of conversing with Rokon. Are you all right?
No, sweet lady. I would be warmed by your presence. And I kind of reach out an elderly hand towards her, trying to pull the old lady card, like, come comfort me, I feel bad.
45 isn't that old, Tia,
Old
but
enough.
yes.
I'm turning 33 next week, okay? I'm feeling
You're
it.
feeling it. She cracks a small supportive smile, but it's very small, and she does come over to you and Rookone, and she kind of just tries to put the back of her hand up to your face just to kind of feel your cheek there, if you'll let her.
I do.
She shakes her head a little bit and she says, "You're very sick. Do you know what those things were?"
I believe they were wraiths. That is all I can guess.
Will there be more?
Yes. But they should only be attacking me.
The ones that came for us, they came for the girl and the dragon.
Future is uncertain. They're trying to correct it. I kind of glance over in Tanis's direction and back to her. I hope you trust him very much.
Sir Riordan? Of course I trust him.
I meant the half-elven. He's the most uncertain out of us all.
You just don't know him like I do. He is the most certain man, well, one of, that I have ever known. But you should rest. We all need rest.
And Honoria wants to keep on her personal plan that she's been digging at here, but she can't. She's too tired. Hopefully that seed of doubt is enough as she uses her staff to kind of slowly sit down and lean back against a tree and just closes her eyes, probably getting pretty close to passing out right then and there, struggling to hold on to consciousness to hear and listen to what's going on around her.
What about Rookone? He's there too. So Riordan.
He's kind of gathering the damage, watching Lily and Riordan, observing all the reactions from everyone around him as he tries to anticipate whispers that may or may not come.
Roll me a perception check. As Lorana wants Honoria leaves, gives Rookone a kind pat on the shoulder and a nod, and she moves over towards Sir Riordan. She doesn't get as close as she could. She's a couple of feet away. She looks at Lily in his arms, and she doesn't say anything for a moment. She's just kind of looking at you. There's a curiosity in her eyes. She's trying to read you.
He doesn't say anything.
When she does talk, she looks away and looks back down to the dragon, Fire Flash. And she says, "Where do we go next? What's the plan?"
We get everyone home.
Not everyone.
Then we make it worth something.
Yes. Are we staying here tonight? Or are we moving on?
We must continue to move. We have little time.
Of course, Sir Riordan. I'll go speak to Tanis. He just needs a minute.
Lorana.
Yes.
He looks at the dragon. I wonder how long he thought he had to make decisions, to live. Far longer than you and I. Yet here he lies, a hero. Visions unseen. Dreams undreamt. We do not live forever.
She looks back at you, and there's something like recognition in her eyes. It's kind. Everything ends. But I don't want to end here. And I don't want you to either.
Shall see everyone home. And again he looks at the dragon. Dreams undreamt, if nothing else.
Here's roll me an insight check.
My speciality.
This is within earshot for me as well. I would like to also roll an insight based on, do I think that Lorana's just saying something to keep things moving, or is there some sort of real emotion there?
I'm going to make you roll your insight at disadvantage, though. She stays locked on Sir Riordan for a long moment, even after the end of their dialogue. But she doesn't say anything else, and it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what she meant, if she meant anything. But she does smile before she kind of nods her head and turns to take her leave to return to Tanis, who's over on the side of the camp. Rookone, with a 17 perception check, as you're sort of listening to the wind and things have grown mostly quiet, you can hear not far to the north what sounds like music, like maybe a singular instrument playing. It's not a consistent song. It's in and out.
Trying to discern whether that's something that's in reality or something that's going on in his head. He tries to shake it off, shake his head, and see if he can continue to hear it.
Roll me another perception check. You can still hear it. It almost sounds like somebody's playing an instrument, or not a full song, not true music, but the pieces, the components of music.
He'll retreat back to the group and take a knee beside Riordan.
Do you hear a song? Listen.
Can I hear it if directed?
Yeah, you hear it too, just like him.
To the north.
Yes.
Maybe a safe place for us to rest, maybe food.
He turns and, as his kneeling brother is beside him, he looks him in the eye. I'm not sure we have the time.
Does it remind you of the type of song we've encountered once before?
The camp.
Did the melodies strike you?
The camp. Yes. Yes.
Worth investigating.
Perhaps for a moment. He puts his hand on Ragon's shoulder if he'll let him in. For a moment.
Shall we gather everyone? Or send one or two of us?
We should travel together. I do not know if they will leave the dragon, but it's time to move. Everyone.
He'll rise from his kneeled position and start to physically signal everyone to get their things ready and head off to the northern direction.
Nova probably doesn't notice until everybody's moving, because at this point she's thawed out all of the snow around a bush, has set the bush on fire, and is just kind of waving her good... She's kind of staring out into it, kind of squatting next to it, waving her good hand kind of through the flames. But if Rukon leaves the camp, she'll probably notice that.
Rukon, if you're gathering everybody, you would notice Nova doing that.
Yeah.
We're ready to go. Are you?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just distracted. And then she'll point her other hand out and just put the fire out.
Are you okay?
It's great. Got a bit of some phantom pain going on there, so distracted myself.
Now I know you're not okay because I was expecting a lot more words. But that's fine. We should probably start being honest.
Just trying to keep morale up, you know. A lot of shit's gone on the past. How long have I known you now? Like 4 days? 5 days? A week? Something like that.
And that certainly won't be the end of the shit.
Oh, it never is. I was just hoping to catch a, prison break. Usually after a prison break, I catch a slight break for a few days, but not this time.
There it is. Are you ready? Do you have all your things?
Just Kind of slaps her arm again.
Let's head north.
North? But Balmony is west?
Just for a moment.
Are you trying to get me alone?
We're all going together.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry if I... He coughs and then looks down at the ground and like shakes his head, and you can see several thoughts go into his head, and he says no to 8 or 9 of them and then walks away.
Kind of watches the emotions kind of cross his face. Has a bit of a flashback to Synthal and goes, no, he wouldn't. And just keep going, following him.
Nova.
How about Honoria?
Trying to get the Kender's goddamn attention, which
okay.
Yes.
is going well.
Yeah, yes. Wow. Yep.
You have
Yes.
an extra dimensional space on you, yes?
Yeah, I mean, at least one.
May I see it for a moment?
What are you gonna do with my arm?
I am going to reside in it for a short period of time, if you'll let
There's only 10 minutes of air in there. Is that gonna be enough?
No.
I've tried. Let me tell you. Thankfully, I knew this one good dude who could hold his breath for 3 minutes. Otherwise, it would have been real bad.
There's nothing I can do to extend the air in there. Nope. Honoria sighs, defeated, and...
Yeah, Avery can sit there all day because she doesn't need to breathe. So, convenient.
I will begin walking at what I believe is a normal pace, but is probably like half movement.
Lorana and Tanis will kind of say final words together to Fire Flash. There's no opportunity for any sort of funeral rites, not time given. And it's really, you can tell it's hard for Tanis to pull himself away, but he does. When the rest of the group moves, they move, but they move at the rear of the group. Who's taking lead here?
Ruko and Will.
And who's up at the front with Rokon?
Nova.
Nova.
Riordan.
I imagine Honori is probably in the back too, because she's old now.
Jesus.
Not that old, apparently.
Riordan would stay between Honoria and the group in the lead to kind of keep them both within, action
His
distance.
sight.
Yeah.
Spying distance.
So-
We get it.
I don't roll insight checks when you talk.
Nova and Ruko, and you being in the front, you'll see it first as you kind of move through the woods. You can hear the music. It's not loud, but you can hear it more clearly the further north you travel. And it's a single instrument. It starts and it stops, and it starts and it stops. The song is sad and contemplative. And you see through the thinning trees of the grove the start of what looks like maybe a long field that Nova, you would know, kind of stretches out to the north until it reaches the desert. A Vardo. This is a very colorful wagon. Looks very similar to the one Rokon that you'd encountered before with Inza and her small group. And there's a dead campfire on the outside of the Vardo that's still smoking. It looks like it must have recently gone out. The rain has almost stopped at this point. It's starting to get very cold, and you can hear that the music is coming from inside the wagon.
Do I recognize this Vardo?
I would say yes. Nova would recognize the Vardo.
I think, she and Raccoon kind of creep up. She sees it, and she goes, oh! And I smacks him. And it just walks straight forward.
Let's go back to Viseria now. Viseria, does your wagon have a window?
Yeah, probably. And she's got the double doors at the back that are half doors, so she would leave one cracked so that she could look out.
As you're sitting there, you've been playing your instrument for a while after Samuel left, just kind of lost in your thoughts, ready to wait out the night and start again tomorrow. You see not through the door, but through the window, a large minotaur, side by side with Nova. She slaps the minotaur and starts to move quicker. They're both moving towards your Bardo.
She'll push the doors open and just kind of lean against one side, standing there, and look at Nova and say, "Darling, you don't write, you don't call, you don't tell me where you are."
Oh, hey there, Visaria. I know it's been a while. Things have been real busy lately. How have you been? Well, I do that a lot.
Well, no, but usually I can find you, I know where you are, and then you disappear.
Oh, so I was really sneaky this time.
Yes.
Make you work for it. It's fine.
Darling, I like this one.
Oh, that's real good.
He's a good one. I like this one. He'll be good. But where are the rest? Come on, bring inside. We'll have food.
You can see now Visaria, Sir Riordan approaching, not far behind. He just kind of was out of your line of sight beyond the Minotaur until now. And you can see with Sir Riordan is a young red-haired girl in tattered clothes. And behind him, 3 more. Honoria wearing black robes, black and partially whitened hair. And then Tanis Half-Elven in his red beard and green leather armor and cloak, and Lorana, who is changed out of her dress and is now wearing like very simple traveler's cloak and tunic. It looks like maybe even a man's tunic.
And she'll just kind of take all of that in and look at Lorana and go, "Darling, I can definitely make something better than that. We can fix that. That's fine. But no, bring the child. Bring the child. This is much too cold. Why is she outside?"
We're all outside.
Honestly, Nova, come on, get inside.
It's a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll kind of yell back to everybody. She's perked up a little bit.
You look a lot like someone who I know that has not been friendly to me.
Yes, I know. You met my sister. It's unfortunate, but I am the better looking one, and the hair is a little bit different. I got the red and the white, and she didn't.
You gonna say like, I'm gonna curse you? Or...
Did she actually say that? Did she actually curse you? No, come on. I will see. Come.
Nova, this is
Visaria. She's real nice, real great. It's helped me out of a couple binds.
Okay, but why am I sweating?
I didn't set anything on fire yet.
If you want to, you can relight the fire, darling.
She'll just reach over and firebolt the campfire back up.
It's okay, I don't watch everything.
Watch every... What are you referring to?
He's number 2 on the list.
He's number 2. He's stepping up in the world. I'm very happy about this. You must tell me more. Oh, by the way, I'm Visaria. Welcome. Come. We will eat and we will drink. And we will have music.
Just kind of point out the others as they come by. That's Honoria. That's Mr. Riordan. That's Little Lily. We've got Mr. Tanis Half-Elven. Don't know why we keep bringing in his race into this, but it's, I guess it's cool. He's all right with it. And then we've got the general. Or something.
General, can I can help you with that. Sir Riordan, yes, and Honoria. Darling, I'm so sorry. We will definitely help you with that. You need to lie down. You need a sandwich and to lie down. Come. We'll lie. It'll be fine.
I want to know how Sir Riordan and Honoria are reacting to this scene as they have now they're back and up upon the Bardo as well.
There's no time for this.
only time for this. Resting in a sandwich sounds great. Nova trusts her. Good enough for right now. Honoria is too sick and too tired to be as guarded as she usually is, and she kind of nods with thanks. I must rest.
Yes. Take the bed. You can share with the child. It will be fine.
I go and lay down next to Lily. Conk out.
Lily is currently still with Sir Riordan. He's walking
leave
like.
space
Are you
for
carrying her? Or is she like hand in hand with you? How's that going?
He's carrying her now.
Okay.
Sir Riordan, I understand that you had a very complicated conversation with my sister. I mean, realistically, I've had complicated conversations with my sister since the day we could talk. But your dear friend Sir Albin, Shortlock Hammerfist, wanted me to let you know that this is a place you can rest for the night.
No, Albin?
Oh, I know all of you. Well, some better than others.
With my 19 insight, Dawn, did Alvin say this was a safe place for us to rest?
You believe that she's telling the partial truth. Maybe not the full truth.
Do you say Albin? I say it like the door or entrance to your bardo.
Yes. He's a very charming dwarf. I mean, if that's what he is.
What do you mean by that?
Everything is deceiving. But are we going to do this right now? Fine. So Riordan, and she'll like turn and put herself in dead center in the middle of the steps down to the bottom of the bardo and say, "My name is Visaria. I am a wanderer. I am a very good friend of your compatriot Nova. Very good friend on occasion. But you all don't know me anywhere as well as I know you. So, I will say that this night, if it is in my power, you will be safe in my house. I give you food, I give you drink. No harm shall come to you in my presence. At least from me. And mine.
There's more of you?
Not at the moment, no.
Dawn, what powers the bardo?
How do you imagine it? Do you imagine it's like two horses hitched to the front?
Yeah. Just two. And they're
currently hitched, or are they currently like hitched off to a tree or some such?
they're kind of they're probably ground hitched nearby.
Yeah.
She wouldn't want them too far. But yeah.
Very well. We can rest in your home. Perhaps your home can go where we need it to. We are heading
We're in a
west.
bit of a time crunch. Not gonna lie. When am I not? I know. Sorry.
You're always in a hurry. Always in a hurry. But I figure I know why you're in this hurry this time. Where are you going? This way or that way?
West to Melbourne.
You mean your friend Agatha and Avrin?
She leans over towards like Rukon and Honoria and stuff. Goes, she's good. I didn't even tell her that one.
They're a little busy. Avrin's dealing with family problems. But she's dealing with some
Mr. Fisty?
She was very aggressive in her dealing with family problems.
Tell me more.
More means you're resting. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to piss off my sister.
I have strength enough for this.
I know you've mentioned you've had a sister before, but who's your sister?
Inza!
Oh! How did I not just put those puzzle pieces together till just now?
And she just looks at Nova and goes, I know the hair's a little different, but everything else is the same.
And, you know, you're all just so tall. It's hard to sometimes get the subtleties.
Are you and
All
your
right.
sister close?
We're twins. How do you define close? What are you talking about?
I think you should piss her off.
No,
I wouldn't.
Do you have a great love in your heart for her, and does she for you?
At that, she just starts laughing really loudly.
So these are the horses over here, right?
Yes, are you going? If you want to go to Malmanet and take deal with your dear friend Agatha and Avrin's family problems, or we could go deal with mine. Either way.
Is your sister in the desert right now at the place?
I'm trying to decide if she's turned Kinslayer or not. No, they told me mother died.
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard there was the funeral. I thought you were supposed to be there. But I guess they already had it. Or they're having it tomorrow. It's soon.
Theoretically, it's supposed to be tomorrow? Question mark.
Quick, let me. Your sister, Inza. Right, that's common knowledge now.
It's hard to deny the family resemblance when we're mirrors of each other, yes.
Good point. She did mention that she cursed me.
I can tell you if that's true or not.
How?
I would just read you.
How do you read me?
Give me your hands.
Honoria scoffs and looks away.
And he looks at Nova and like with like a
I mean, she can only read one of mine.
It's a lot harder. But in this case, I'm more reading if she left anything on you.
how do you want them?
Just put them in my palms. See?
Oh.
She'd ask me that.
Not now, darling. You can ask him later. Is it, I mean, theoretically, she would know if she cursed him. And if anyone powerful enough cursed him. What do you want me to roll to see if I can determine if she
Let's do this. Let's make me 3 Arcana checks.
Okay.
And that'll be the amount of information that I can give you. And describe how she goes about this little ritual of hers to tell.
She pulls his hands in closer, so they're resting on her palms, and she just looks him, she kind of glances over his shoulder at Nova for a second, smirks, and then starts whistling and humming. And it's another song that she wrote, and it's calming, soothing, but an underlying martial tone. It's kind of supportive and identifies with the person that she's dealing with. So 3 Arcana, you said?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
15, 7, and 15.
You're not sure about the specifics of the reason why, but you are certain that there is a curse on him. That is a curse of your clan, your people. So his story holds true. And this specific type of curse is a curse of madness. It's a curse that basically in Nightwood you give to an individual when you want the Whispering Beast to take them. And it's just a matter of time unless one can remove the curse before they are driven mad and the beast does take them. And you know of the rolling hills, the ivory hills. You know where the madmen live, and you know of their caretaker.
Does she think she could break it herself?
You have one way. You know you could.
Yeah. She's trying to decide if there's another way to do it.
The only way beyond that is for the person who placed the curse to willingly lift the curse. Or for them to, if they were to die, then there's a ritual, could do. But as long as they live,
Yeah.
the curse is forever unless they choose to lift it.
So do you want the good news, the bad news, or the it could be better news?
There's 3 types of news. Can't you just deliver all of the news in one thing?
Okay, yes, you are cursed. My sister is a vindictive individual who desires you to be driven slowly mad. What did you do to piss her off? I mean, like, I pissed her off frequently. I just want to know so I can compare.
I encountered a dude, a gentle person, who wanted to take the soles of my feet away. And
Nova kind of goes, and then covers her mouth. Like, she had a big thing of recognition, and then, like, plays it off real cool. Like, who?
And there was a box involved, and I got a box. I took it back there to her camp. She told me if I didn't give her the box, something bad would happen. I didn't give her the box. She said she cursed me, and I'm like, this is bull poop.
Well, that's a little aggressive for the box, but I'm betting I know.
How do we have so many mutual friends?
I wouldn't say that that's mutual friends, dear.
Well, they're number 4 and 6 on the list.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure that one of them is no longer mutual friends.
Listen, do I have to kill anyone? Because I certainly don't have a problem.
Not number 4 or 6.
Well, here's the thing. You could kill my sister.
She's not on the list.
She's definitely not on the list.
Nope.
And then there could be a ritual to lift the curse. You could bend on knee and beg for my sister to lift the curse, but...
Nope, not that one.
She's a vindictive individual and probably wouldn't have lifted it anyways, so there's that. So those are your current options, unless something changes in the near future.
What if I don't kill her? Like, how vindictive would she be without any arms or legs?
Nova kind of grabs, like, unconsciously kind of grabs her arm again. A little bit.
About as vindictive as I can be without any arms or legs.
And how vindictive is that?
I don't need arms or legs to curse someone. I don't need arms or legs.
That's a tongue. You need that.
I don't need a whole lot to force someone to be suffering lots of pain. Realistically, I think we'll talk about it. Sir Riordan, I'm assuming that you're very good at hitching my horses, and therefore you've got that mostly done. Because you're a very efficient individual. And she just kind of turns and looks beyond the horse.
Has he hitched the horses during this time to the wagon, like to get them ready to go?
Yes.
What's he been doing? Yes.
Would you like to bring the child in here so that she might sleep?
Yes.
Is there anything I can give to you to help your day be better?
No. Thank you.
He's number 8 on the list.
He might rise higher.
He might.
I have a good feeling about that one.
Pretty stiff competition, though. I don't know.
You just told me that I was cursed. That there's ways to do that. How can we not explore some of these options?
Because one of those options involves doing something for you that I'm kind of willing to do, but I'm still contemplating doing it, and you can't force me to make up my mind that quickly.
Just sleep on it. So Ragon, when did the bloody cobbler come visit you? How long ago was that? Do you still have the box?
I gave it to Inza so she would take back the stupid curse.
She didn't take the curse back, though.
Of course she didn't take the curse back. I shouldn't say those things about my sister.
No, you should definitely say them.
But it's okay. I'm sure I can talk to him. We can work something out. He's a good friend of mine.
The guy, the gentle person who wanted to take the skin of another person's foot and put them into my feet.
Yeah, it's to give you purpose. That's what he does.
I think in this case he has purpose. I don't think he needs the cobbler's attention.
Over by the horses, Riordan pokes up his head. The dude! She's talking about the dude! And he goes back to...
You know, it's not your fault. He only does it to people, you know, if he wasn't he usually murders you and then takes your souls if you have betrayed your purpose. But if you've just lost your purpose, then he takes some of those souls and he puts them on you. So, you know, I'm sure you just got a little lost is all. He's a real nice guy.
So.
Real lonely, though.
So, this dude
Mr. Cobbler.
Mr. Cobbler
Mr. Bloody Cobbler.
So in the past, wanted to give me a different purpose.
Yeah, get you back on track in life. Yep.
Was I off track?
Sometimes you wander off the path and you don't even know it. That's called getting lost.
And all of you, well, not Nova, but the rest of you are very lost here. You don't belong.
Lost through time.
And space. Theoretically, considering that they're one and the same in transition. Anyways.
What? We'll have to do the math on that later. Yeah, and then, the Whispering Beast. He's not a bad guy. If we can't, if you do go a little crazy, he'll take real good care of you.
But at the same
we don't want you to go crazy. I'm just saying if you did, it wouldn't be an end-all thing.
And realistically speaking, I am not the kinslayer. But if it happened to be that my sister's own actions came back to bite her in the ass and you stabbed her repeatedly, that's not my problem.
Okay, this is a lot at one time. Can we ride and talk?
Oh, of course. Come on.
At this point, twilight has turned to night, and the rain has stopped. The clouds are starting to part, and you can just make out now. You can't make out the light from all 3 moons in the night sky, but you can see very clearly the crimson light of Lunatari. It is the brightest moon tonight, and it is shining down through the parting clouds as the horses have been hitched to the back of this Bardo. Everyone is gathered in the back. Lily is exhausted, laying down next to Honoria on the bed. Nova, you feel, at first you think it's that phantom pain from your missing arm, but then it's something scratching. It's scratching the part of your upper arm, your shoulder, that's still there. And when you look down, you see sticking out of your arm of holding what looks like a little tiny piece of parchment.
Oh! You got a note, guys.
Pull it out. It's wrapped up. And as you pull it out and unwrap it, you find that it's not just parchment. There is a note written there, but there's also a few red gem-like shards in it. They look like they've been shattered from the same piece of gem or stone or glass or something. And there's a written message signed by Avrin. The message reads, Fist and Vantalis is dead. Agatha and I are all right. We'll find you at original meeting point unless something has changed. That's all the letter says.
Now.
And we're all, let's say at this point, is Sir Riordan riding or is Visaria riding the wagon?
Visaria would invite him to sit up front with her if that is his choice.
There's 2 seats up there.
She'd probably have reached up to the 2 things that look like carved sconces on the sides of the wagon and cast light on each of them. So they would just kind of look like carved wooden balls of light that are just sitting there looking like headlights.
Perfect. And it is a dark night, so that does come in handy as you're making your way through the plains. So with Sir Riordan and Visaria up front riding, you're starting the travel. Nova, you're in the back. So Honori would be there, Rookone, Tennis and Lorana. They were the last to enter the Bardo, and they've not really talked. They've kind of like taken their time to talk to each other, and they must have come to the decision that they're going to continue along for now. They're kind of sitting in the back of the Bardo together. Tanis's eyes are closed. You're not sure if he's sleeping or not, and Lorana's just kind of looking over him. So Nova, you pull out the letter, and with you are Rookone and Honori in the back.
I think she kind of looks at the letter. Now, Honoria is apparently an avid geologist, as she has kept repeatedly asking me about very specific types of rocks, and asks if I have seen them. Would this happen to look like one of the types of rocks, pieces of this rock that she was describing initially?
It could be, yeah. You could always show her and ask her. I think Honoria's asleep right now, right?
She needs to rest. I wouldn't want to disturb her right now. But yeah, it's probably one of those rocks she was interested in if Avern thought to include it in her note. She'll look over to Rookone, show him the note, quietly, to not wake Honoria or Lily. Good news. Apparently Alfred's just fine. They're doing great. Mr. Fisty's dead.
But I'm not dead.
Why would you be dead if Mr. Fisty was dead? You're Rookone, not Mr. Fisty.
Sometimes I hear whispers, and one of them just told me I was...
Oh, is it the Whispering Beast? He whispers a lot.
Okay, but...
If you want me to... I could write him a note, ask him to stop if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Nova, have you ever written a note to the Whispering Beast and asked him to stop before?
I don't think she's ever asked him to stop before, but she definitely 100% writes notes to the Whispering Beast and the Bloody Cobbler, like, make sure you eat your lunch today, hope you're taking care of yourself. She sends them, like, mom notes.
Okay.
Like, hope you're doing well, happy birthday, that kind of things. So I think she'll just start to pen out a note.
And Rookone, you have the note that Nova received through her arm of holding, and so you would know that it's signed by Avra, and it says Fistandantilus is dead, Agatha and I are all right, we'll find you at the original meeting point unless something has changed, and that's it. There's a few shards of red, maybe glass, maybe gem, that was wrapped up in the note as well.
Interesting. Did everyone see this?
Oh, no, just you so far. I was gonna... Honoria's sleeping, so I was gonna let her rest, because let me tell you, she's not looking that great right now. She's looking real rough.
She's looking really... She got old fast, right? I'm not the only one who sees that.
Yeah, no, I was glad it's not just me who sees that. You don't think I look old, right? Because I still think she's younger than me.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Holy shit, that's the best inside check I've ever done.
Does Rookone think that Nova looks old?
He doesn't, other than vampiric Kender, he doesn't know what old is in Kender. So, relatively, there's a lot of uncertainty. So, the reflection is his own idiocy and not a certainty of, oh yeah, Nova's old. Like, that's not the thing. It's relative to undead Kender, you look better than they do.
Okay, cool. She'll take that.
Strong. Real strong.
She'll let that pass. That's an acceptable answer for her. She'll be like, yeah, she's looking a little rough. Do you want to take the note to Riordan while I pin out this to the Whispering Beast? Do you want to say anything to him specifically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell him to let his Gronath go. That's HAZGRONATH.
All right. I'll make sure it's put in there. So she'll pen out a note that says, Hey, buddy, how you been? I'm doing okay. Busted out of Soft's prison, got a bunch of intel on the place, made a map. That'll be useful. Hope you're taking care of yourself. Hope all the crazies are doing good. Can't wait to see you hopefully soon. Made some real good friends, one of which apparently you've been whispering to. He'd really appreciate it if you stopped, because, we're going to be seeing you in person soon anyways. I probably sure pretty soon. Also, he has he would really be very appreciative if you let someone named Hesgroneth go. All right. Anyways, don't forget to, stay hydrated. See you soon. Lots of love, Nova. She puts that into.
Put it into your arm of holding.
Mhm.
And Rookon,
Addressed to-
are you heading out to the front of the Vardo to kind of peek through the curtain and talk to Sir Riordan and Visaria?
Correct.
All right. So before you appear, we've had some time now with Sir Riordan and Visaria in the front of this wagon, driving along with magical light to guide you, and these two horses pulling you through the field. Fields are muddy with the recent storm. Sometimes a wheel gets stuck for a moment and you have to get out of the Vardo and kind of pull it out of the mud. It's faster going than walking, but it's not great until you finally reach the road. And you would know this road stretches west to Malmene. It goes north and east to Calamon. It even goes south and east towards southern Nightland. And when you reach the road, you can see that the clouds have parted. The air has gotten a lot colder, and already ice crystals are beginning to form on the tall grass that's been wet by the rain. And this is the temperature of a coming winter, and the cold's biting at you as you get back into the wagon. It's the two of you there. Are the two of you talking? Are you guys discussing anything? What are you doing as you drive along?
Greg would, of course, talk and chit-chat, but Riordan's going to make this as awkward as is humanly possible by just sitting there and not saying anything.
I don't think Visaria lets it get awkward. I don't think she would acknowledge that it gets awkward. But she might make it even more awkward for Riordan, because she'd be asking him questions that he would have no context for her knowing about at all. Like, so, how was that thing with Sir Jeremy? I thought it went really well. You killed him very well. Did you enjoy it? Was it releasing, or how are you doing with after that work?
I never enjoy killing.
No, well, that's a good thing.
It was a good day, though.
A good day is always a good day to die. Or equally not. But I do have to ask, now that how are you? No, we're not there yet. You don't want to tell me that yet. I'll get there. But I have been working on some minor compositions. Do you mind if you listen? I'm trying to make sure that they match you and your brother, companion, the very large Raccoon, and the hitting with the stabbing and the killing and the making wolves into battering rams and large objects. That was very pretty, by the way. That was very impressive. I did enjoy that.
It was a good night.
But, well, okay, so I need your opinion on this particular one. And she'd slowly start humming.
He would politely put his hand up as I'm assuming holding the reins. I'm afraid that I won't be of much help. I only have 2 notes, sharp and flat.
But you can appreciate, no?
If you say so, yes.
If you can't appreciate, you're dead, and you don't look dead.
It's up for debate at this present time.
Trust me, you're not dead yet. You have too many people to kill, so little time, and a lot of people are believing and have hope that you can do what you're here to do.
And what is that?
Fix what broke. Or more accurately, what he broke.
And who is he?
A gentleman who does not deserve the title of gentleman, who's lost his title as a knight because he, well, failed in any and all respects.
I shall see him soon enough.
Do you have goals?
Goals?
Yes.
To see my friends return to our home, and if possible to help this place.
Then when you see him, keep that in mind. Don't focus on him. He will distract you.
He has tried.
He makes you angrier than you want to admit. And until you say that, he will succeed.
And what if I admit that he does anger me?
Now that you are angered, and you know that he can do it, it becomes water passing through you, but not an ice cube in your way.
What's your name again?
Visaria? It's not that hard.
Find it disconcerting that you know a battle plan that I haven't even heard of yet. But oddly comforting.
My family is gifted.
I should say so.
We see.
What all do you see?
As much as we can.
Then tell me of my friends.
Which ones?
The ones in the wagon.
All right. This is what you want to do? Okay. You have the reins. You're not going to let me fall off? Good.
I promise.
She reaches next to her and into her bag and pulls out a black sheet of obsidian with silver all around the outside. I have a very interesting question.
I'm sure.
We shall see if this works or not. I've been difficult to see recently. Things have been blocking the view.
You don't say.
It's sometimes difficult, but sometimes it is the best that we can do. And she's going to scry in the back of the cart, specifically on Nova, because she's pretty sure that Nova's used to her doing that.
There is still interference, even though you are this close.
Mhm.
Whatever it is that's magical that is keeping you from being able to scry on the companions, at least the ones who are here, it's still impacting you even now.
Somebody has made it so I can't look. You wouldn't know anything about that, Senor, Mr. Riordan, sir?
Ah, I am no wizard.
No. No, you're not. You're very good, however, at what you are.
Thank you. Though there are many like me. Many far better.
Not as many as you think, sir. No, there are many who can swing a blade. There are many who are good at killing. There are many who can leave a battlefield strewn with in the wake of their dead. But that's not what you are, sir.
What am I?
You are a knight. And you are more than just the sword in your hand. You're the brain in your head and the heart in your chest. And those are still good. Many who swing a sword are no longer such.
Then we shall endeavor to bring them back to the light.
Don't try and save the one that you're meeting in a few days.
No need to worry about that.
That's good. I really wish I knew why I can't see her. It's very upsetting. I didn't even know where she broke out of prison. It's most upsetting. Usually I'm better at these things. I have a place, I'm there, I'm on time.
Right as you say that, Rookone pops out of the back through the curtain with the note in his hand.
Hey, are you guys talking about something?
Possibly.
It's like a yes or no question. I don't.
We were talking, yes. You are not interrupting anything, my friend.
So, you might want to know this. This came through Nova's with the from Avrin, Agatha.
Oh, good. They finished killing him then?
Ah, good. We got some email. Elbow mail, of course.
Our mail.
No, it wasn't here.
I think you need to workshop that one, Reardon. It was good, but it doesn't seem to roll off the tongue.
It is a dad joke, and it is amazing. Can I see the note?
My arm's tired. I've been holding it out.
Oh.
And, yeah, you've been focusing on. Yeah.
And it's a little hard to talk, interact, and drive in the dark, sir.
These horses know where they're going.
So you have the note, and just like I told them, there's a few shards of red gem, something like a gem with the note. The note itself reads, Fistandantilus is dead. Agatha and I are all right. We will find you at the original meeting point unless something changed. And it's signed Avrin. That's it.
They seem to be doing well. What do we write back? We're about 50 yards from where you found us. Making great time.
That seems really pointed and unnecessary, but
No, I'm happy that they're happy and that they're doing well, but...
Well, let's put it this way. If they manage to actually deal with this wizard Fistandantilus, that means my sister is going to be less happy.
Did she have dealings with this Fistandantilus?
Yep.
Then she is not having a good night.
I like it when she doesn't have a good night. I know that's bad of me in general. She is my sister, I should care more. But it's really feeling very happy that she's having a bad night.
It's fine to say something like that. Just before you say it, think to yourself, this is beneath me, and then you're able to say basically whatever you'd like.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I don't actually think it's beneath me. It might be beneath you, because you are a good person.
Just have to say it. I think it.
That works. Don't worry.
So, I'm sorry.
She's just gonna look over her shoulder and say, "Don't worry, Mr. Raccoon. It'll all work out."
Why would it not? I never. And then he goes back behind the curtains in the Barda.
As Rookone pulls back inside the wagon, you've reached the road now, and it goes west towards Malmene and northeast towards Kalaman. You know from Nova's directions that off the road north will take you into the desert, and that would be a different road. There's a road through the desert. Are you heading west towards Malmene?
I mean, that's where we're supposed to meet them, and Riordan hasn't been convinced to do anything else, and yeah, west he would head.
Does anybody write them a note back?
Oh yeah, Nova does. As soon as she's done penning a note to, good old Whispering Beast buddy, she'll get the buddy cobbler. She'll write the buddy cobbler later. She'll write a note back to Auburn and say, I think she's been told that Fistandantilus is her dad, so she'll be like, sorry about your loss, Avrin, but good to hear you and Avrin are okay. You know, it feels like it's been a month or so since we talked about it, even though I know it's only been, you know, maybe half a day or so. Where exactly did you want to meet up at? Because if you got everything handled down in Malmane, we could totally just meet you guys in the desert. Just let me know. Okay, thanks, bye. Make sure you're eating. And then love Nova.
You shove it in your arm, and poof, it goes away. While you're on the road tonight, is anybody else doing? Is there anything anybody wants to do? Is everybody resting? Are we taking turns driving? How's this night going? We'll get to Honoria here momentarily.
I'm good. I'm sleeping. Everything's fine. Great.
You need it.
Riordan will, you know, all he needs is 4 hours. So he will not drive for 4 hours so he can rest.
Visaria will drive as far as they need to go. She's passively aggressive, okay, with an excuse not to see her sister any sooner than she has to be. I mean, she figures we'll have to deal with it eventually, but not any quicker than she needs to. So she'll drive the 4 hours for Riordan and then hand him the reins back and just kind of lean against the side of the Vardo and sleep there. It's probably not. She's probably done it quite a few times, actually.
All right. What about Rokon and Nova? How are you? What's this night for you guys?
Nova definitely starts off after penning her letters, hiding wistfully and looking in Rukon's direction.
And Rukon witnesses her like write the letter and put it back in her thing. Like, I saw what you were writing, but I did not mean to intrude. I think I'm not well with the written word, but I did see some things. I feel you may have meant to write Agatha where you wrote Averin. I didn't recognize a lot of the words. I'm not great at that.
I mean, I wrote Averin back because Averin's the one who wrote it to me, but I could write Agatha too.
No, I just didn't see Agatha's name on there. You know, she's part of us as well.
I said I'm glad you both are doing okay. So she was under the both, but I should write her something. And she pulls out the piece of paper again. Or another piece of paper and a note. It says, P.S. Agatha, make sure to take care of yourself and get rest if you need it. The world isn't ending today. We still have 2.25 days. And then she'll put that in the note. And love XO Nova. She'll add the addendum.
Right as you add the addendum, another note pops out of your arm. It reads, Desert then, will try my best with the sun. What's your exact location?
I think at that, she goes, oh, okay, hold up. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, to Rukon. And she climbs out the window to get up into the front with Visaria and Riordan. And kind of scoots forward. Hi, hey guys. So I got another note from Averin. She says that we can meet in the desert, but where are we exactly? So I was just coming out here to take a good look at the area.
Well, we're on the road. We're gonna turn around.
Dawn, let me hold on one sec.
She would have just handed the note to Riordan, and he's like looking over with Visaria.
According to the plan was to go. Oh, snake.
You have the note in your hand, and you were about to ask me a question, Greg.
Yes. So my point with all this is that if our original plan was to go to Malmene, reforge the Dragonlance into the sword, and then go to the desert, is that where the Lake of Sounds is?
Maybe. Yes, that's where it's at. We got to go through the desert.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then he would have gone north if we got the thing back that said... Okay, I'm completely confused because we were never given the heading of the Lake of Sounds. So at the cross...
Because Nova that's very restricted and high class clearance information, so she's been giving you things on a need-to-know basis, which was, we're going to Malmene, but now that Malmene is taken care of, she'd be more than happy to be like, yeah, no, we gotta go to the desert now, guys.
Okay, well then in that case, we're gonna rewind time back to the crossroads when we get that note, and as soon as that note would come up, Riordan would pull the wagon back and say, okay, where is the Lake of Sounds? If they have taken care of everything, we could save some time.
Desert.
We're going to have to see my sister, aren't we?
Yeah, we're probably gonna pass her by.
Oh, maybe Rokon can deal with his little curse issue then.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So I wrote the Whispering Beast. Maybe he'll be, a little lenient till then. We'll see.
Either way, could go 50-50.
So the plan now is to head into the desert following Nova's directions through the desert?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you would know.
Them, she'd write back to Kian or to Avrin then. We're currently at the crossroads. Give the specific where she is currently, and then also Avrin doesn't do great with the sun. Where is the? Let's see. Let me look at I have a map. Could she get to one of the hidey holes that Nova knows about if she wrote her directions to stay out of the sun?
You could draw her like a little map and be like, "This is safe."
She'll draw a little map, say, this is safe, ask for Jerlim, give him this note.
Okay. So you draw the map, you give instructions, you say you're heading into the desert. Mm-hmm. You would know and could tell the others, if you wanted, that the trip through the plains to the desert, it's only about half a day. It's about another day, maybe a little bit longer than a day to actually get through the desert. Mm-hmm. From where you are on the road, right at that little crossroads, that intersection there. So if you drove through the night, you could possibly reach the desert by morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and does she think Avrin and Agatha could make it to that spot as well, maybe by morning?
If they have some sort of faster mode of transportation,
okay,
about a day and a half for them. Okay.
She'll put in travel estimations and stuff because she's a little engineer brain. She'll be like, take this way, and it's just Auburn's gonna have to unroll that sucker
and figure out which of the points to meet you at.
Mm-hmm. She'll give her a few options, but also who to talk to and stuff, and show them this note. Okay. Says your friend.
So you pass notes back and forth. You come up with a plan. You start heading through the plains, and once you leave the road again, it starts. This going becomes slower in the wagon again, taking turns. Does anybody else want to do anything before they take their turns resting for the night? No. Honoria.
Nova's just gonna do a little doodling. That's it. Just some very graphic images of people being set on fire and dying. People she doesn't like on the 10 least favorite people list.
I want to see that list. I want to see your 10.
Too, actually,
10
the least,
list. Yeah.
10 most hated is needed.
Yeah. Honoria, have you been sleeping well tonight?
I think that it would be a restless sleep, physically, but mentally, no dreams.
She has no choice.
Yeah, she's just completely
Roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Do I have any inspiration?
With your Constitution of 3.
I sure will. As soon as I check if I have any inspiration. I've won! Yes! It's a 7.
You will, when you wake up, you'll regain your usual constitution, but it will be replaced with a level of exhaustion.
Okay.
And because of your coughing and your general sickness, and just the pure exhaustion of being magically aged over time, you do have trouble sleeping. In the depths of your sleep, though, you snap out of it once and you find yourself sitting up in the back of the Bardo. Everybody else is asleep. Lily is next to you, snoring. You see on a table in the back of the Bardo a small little, almost a foot stand, a note and little shards of crimson gems.
Do I recognize that color of crimson?
Yes, you recognize it as being the color of the bloodstone.
Do I think I'm in another dream or trap or chaos or something along those lines?
You can roll me perception, you can roll me arcana. It just depends on how you're trying to perceive.
Arcana 25, because exhaustion gives you a disadvantage, doesn't it? So close.
You do think this is a dream. But there's an element of truth to it too.
I will go over and pick up the shards, trying to see what's missing.
It's not all of the gemstone. It's not all of the bloodstone. First off, there's no necklace, there's no chain. And this many shards isn't nearly enough to make up the entire stone. But you would know with a natural 20 on your arcana check that shattering the bloodstone is no simple task. It would take an incredible item of magic, an artifact, to be able to break it like that. Or a very powerful spell.
The sword has been forged, possibly. I'm going to keep the shards and put them in my pocket, as they will help me later. I wait for Fistandantilus to appear to tell me that he's better than me in every way, shape, and form, as I suspect that this is a dream.
Roll me a perception check.
That's 3.
You don't see Fistandantilus. You don't hear him speaking to you. You don't hear the sound of rain or wind or the rolling of the wheels of the Bardo. You look out the window and you can see that it appears that you're moving, but you don't hear the sounds of moving. You don't hear the sounds of breathing anymore. Not even Lily snoring. There are no sounds here at all.
I will read the note quickly and get to studying my spells.
The note only reads, "What do you want?" ? You see that next to it now, there's a quill and an ink pot.
Oh, I just got a really weird, like, Harry Potter book vibe. Want to go home. I'll scratch that lightly in. Watching the paper.
You see ink appear and smooth, perfectly calligraphied lines below your response. And then what?
Whose handwriting is this?
Roll me a history check.
Here we go. 24.
You don't know it from any official history. You only know it because you have studied some of his spells. It's Raceland's handwriting.
to be tutored by the master of past and present.
Roll me either a deception check or a persuasion check, whichever one applies.
Oops, that's perception, not persuasion. I can read. There we go.
There's a long time of that silence. And then, slowly, more ink fills the page. 2 lines. The first one says, "You will need your most powerful magic to protect the timeline." The second line says, "There is a liar amongst you. Your enemy is not dead."
I am not surprised. But I don't trust anyone. I'll go and sit back down on the edge of the bed next to the girl. Maybe looking out the window of where I am to see if there's reality.
Roll me a perception check.
5.
You don't see anything outside the window, just black. Then you look down next to you, and it's Lily, but it's not Lily. It's not the Lily here in this time. It's the Lily you saw in the future, the older Lily, the one who is a knight, dressed in normal clothes. Sleeping.
I will cut some of her hair at the very back, take it, put it into my components pouch.
Roll me another perception check.
10.
You put it into your spell pouch and you look up again to that window and you see 2 white dots for eyes and a large white smile looking through it at you, black otherwise.
Why can't you come in here? Is this place enchanted in some sort of way in my dream world? Are there wards anywhere? I refuse to believe that a monster would sit so close without attacking me.
You can roll me another Arcana check.
30. Still not bad, but
I mean, it's a natural 20.
yeah.
Yeah. This is just a dream. There are elements of it that are true. There are elements that might represent a deeper truth, like any dream. But this is just a dream. And with 2 natural 20s, you're certain that you can't be hurt here.
I'm going to go outside then.
You walk outside of the Vardo into the dark. What are you looking for?
Lunara or Lorana. Bless you.
You see
Lorana
her.
and Tanis.
You see them talking to each other. It's almost like you're looking through a window at them. They kind of appear when you think about them out of the shadow.
Where are we headed? What direction?
You're not sure, you're asleep.
So there's no moons above us, nothing that I could tell where my dream direction is heading.
Only dark, only pure blackness, no earth, no sky, no ground.
So subconsciously, I don't even know where I want to go.
Where do you want to go?
I want to go to Mount Mene. I want to stop Agatha from dying, potentially. To take the sword. To give it to Riordan. Or Rakon. It's the only chance we have of defeating Soth, getting home.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw. You try to will your mind to be where you want it to be, but with what is that? That's like a 6 after your penalties. You only get to your destination in your mind's eye for a moment. And in that moment, you are in some ancient catacomb beneath the earth, lit only by torchlight. There's a forge in the corner. The fires of the forge have died down. You see Fistandantilus, the wizard, on the ground. You see Kelvin, the dwarven wizard that you encountered in the Tower of High Sorcery, a ghost, just like he was then. You see Avrin and Agatha. You see another figure, too, that you vaguely recognize as the knight that was with you in Harthalen, who fought Soth at your side briefly. You watch as Avrin drives a dagger into Fistandantilus's heart, and you can already feel yourself being torn away from this moment, but I will allow you to make me an Arcana check while you're here.
It's not too bad.
You sense the triggering of a contingency spell. The 29, you can sense that the contingency spell has something to do with another bloodstone amulet, one that's hanging from his neck that he grasps in his hands. As he dies, the contingency spell goes off and his body turns to dust.
Curious. So this stone is a fake. The sword has not been forged.
Well, you do see Agatha. I'll say this as well. You do see Agatha's sword, and it is newly forged. It glimmers in the light, glows with a faint light. And on the pommel, where it was missing a gem before, is now a mirrored, some sort of decoration. It definitely seems reforged and you would say magical in this moment, but you're being pulled away from this as you have this thought. You, with a gasp, wake up with a start. And it's morning now. You are in the Vardo, and with your previous Arcana checks, I won't make you check again. You're awake. Lily is a girl again. She's sitting right next to you.
I still cut a piece of her hair in the back and take it for smoking fluids.
What'd you say?
I take out some of her hair from the very back of her, lightly cutting a few strands.
Roll me are you doing this like, just like, oh, hey, or are you like trying to talk like, this is okay?
Is she awake?
How are you? She is. She's sitting up.
Awake,
she's looking.
No. I need the hair of an innocent child's head, but not enough to scare her while she's awake. Even Honora is not that evil. Is the note where it was in my dream?
The note and the shards are where they were on your in your dream. Yes.
If Nova's awake, she's definitely got the shards of the stone and is using mending and trying like a puzzle box. Like it's just,
okay.
Yeah, she's
so
putting it.
She's at like
together.
the table, like trying to piece together the shards in the back.
Yeah.
I do not believe that is the real bloodstone, Nova.
Oh, is this the stone you were looking about? Good morning, by the way. I was wondering if it was, but you were real tired last night, let me tell you. So, didn't wake you up.
Thank you, she says with all sincerity. May I see those?
I mean, I'm not done yet, but you can just don't break it.
will kind of take them, look at them, hand them back to Nova while trying to pocket a piece for myself. Yeah, I know. Trying to steal from a Kender. This is gonna be great.
Do a sleight of hand check for me. We'll call it versus Nova's passive perception.
Well, Nova's passive perception is 10. So, but
you
if she
do-
notices a specific piece is missing in the puzzle, she's like, I know I had it. That might be when like she might notice it 4 hours from now. Something's
Yeah,
missing.
check your bags. Maybe it's in there.
you're able to take a piece of this shard. You're like a little piece for your component pouch. Roll me an Arcana check while you're at it. It's real.
I tell you, it's great.
It's the Bloodstone. Or part of it. It was.
How can there be 2 bloodstones in the same timeline? This is getting dangerous.
Roll me an intelligence saving throw.
I'm really not okay with that. That's a 6.
Don't know.
Don't you get a bonus though? Because it's a saving throw. Aren't you proficient in intelligence saving throws? Because you're a wizard.
Oh.
I don't think so.
You should. You should have a bonus.
Yeah, it'd be your proficiency. So +4.
Oh, yeah, 11. Why is that not factoring in? Oh, saving throw. I rolled it straight from the stat, sorry. So that would be...
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll me as a saving throw.
Oh, okay. Just reroll all together then. That's great. Thank you, Nova.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because my saving throws are ballers. So it's like, yours should be close.
It's... Role-playing as a sick character is not that hard for me today, let me tell you.
So I'll tell you this, and this is just do with it what you will. You brought the Bloodstone with you from the Tower of High Sorcery where you took it, in the city of Plantis, in your timeline. And you know from Sabria and her explanation of events and Avrin's explanation of events that Fistendantilus, Avrin's father, came from the Age of Might in Istar, hundreds and hundreds of years before your Bloodstone. And he had his own Bloodstone. That is how there could be 2 of them.
That means there could be multiples of the other stones. I don't know enough about the history of those stones. Is there anything I recall about the Serpent's Stone appearing anywhere else in history?
You can roll me a history check, and I'll tell you what you know.
12? Because everything's at disadvantage from exhaustion, right?
That's right.
But you just gotta rest?
She has exhaustion. She has her regular constitution instead of a constitution of 3.
Yeah.
With a 12, I will tell you, because your mind's fuzzy. You're very, very tired. You're really struggling to put the pieces together. You've never heard of the Green Emerald before. You don't even know what it's called. The Shadow Serpent, you just remember what the knight said about it in Harthalen, that their order had protected the stone for Lord Soth's benefit for a very long time, and that it was said to have the power to kill any individual. Though how you would use that power, he didn't say or he didn't know before he died.
Right then. I will sit down on the bed and begin studying my spells.
All right. Visaria, we'll say you've taken the last 4 hours, so you're currently riding around dawn, and dawn is breaking over the day. Everyone gets the benefits of a long rest. So congratulations. And Sir Riordan, how would he have gone to sleep when he went to sleep? Where would he be positioned?
Wherever he could.
Oh,
oops. Wherever he could find a space, even if it's up at Visaria or in the back, close to Lily or Rook. He's a soldier, wherever there's room.
It is a pretty tight fit. How about Rookon? Where did you sleep?
Curled up in an oddly shaped humanoid ball with his head near Nova's feet.
Like a gigantic puppy.
Yep.
All right.
Probably in the middle of the night, she would have used him as a big pillow and then woken up before he got up.
We'll say that Rookone wakes up before Sir Riordan, since Sir Riordan was last to go to sleep. So you wake up like that. And still at her feet, she's playing with gems on the table. Honori and the others are awake too, but everybody's just kind of quiet. Tanis has found and helped himself to some food this morning.
Could probably hear Visaria singing as she drives.
From the front.
Mm-hmm.
He stealthily kind of like pushes away, doesn't want to disturb anybody, then like peeks his head out of the bardo to kind of see what's happening with Visaria.
We'll see Sir Riordan's sitting out front too, because it's kind of crowded in the back. So he's like crouched up asleep on the side.
I mean, they have really nice walls that come up and cover you, so.
It's a very nice wagon.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've been thinking, do you think that this curse is something that can be easily lifted?
The fine is, and she just kind of looks you up and down.
We, like, as a group, have an objective, and
yes,
if it I wouldn't want to draw anyone else from.
No. There is a way. I can relieve you of this curse.
Just like that?
Yes.
How?
A gift.
What gift of what? Why didn't you mention this earlier?
Because it's a very limited gift, and I had to decide if I thought that you're... I know that you all are on a path, and that you are the best bet for things to change.
Okay, forgive me if I don't trust you right away, but the last time I trusted someone who looked exactly like you, I got cursed.
Yes, we are very much mirror opposites of each other.
And I know that your relationship with Nova seems like a good one, but how am I...
There is that. It is complicated. I have a question for you, sir. Let us make a trade, a deal. Make you happier?
I make no promises, but I'll entertain the idea.
Do you see my hands?
You have some rings and the appropriate amount of fingers.
Thank you, I appreciate that. It's a lot harder to play a dulcimer without them. It's a very plucky instrument. It's long, it's thin, it's got strings, it makes music.
I saw someone once play it with their teeth.
That's interesting. I wouldn't expect the control... Never mind, I'm sorry, that's off topic. One of these rings was a gift from my mother. It is a gift for our family, and it's an inheritance of sorts. My sister does not like that my mother gave it to me instead of to her. She thinks that being 15 minutes older makes her better. another one of these rings was a gift from someone else. He also was a friend for me. And unfortunately for him, my sister has an unfortunate habit of not liking my friends. And an unfortunate connection with that Lord Soth.
Do you want me to take one of them somewhere? Do you want me to...
No. If I use this gift that my mother gave me for you, I would like a deal. That if you get the opportunity, that this ring that this other person gave me won't be so sad a memory if my sister is no longer able to use it against me.
How would she use it against you?
Do you have siblings, Rokon? I could not see that far. Your past is distant.
I have those I would consider siblings. Had.
What, is it not true that your siblings can hurt you best by the words that they choose? And the memories that they talk about?
I presume, but there must be more to the story.
A gift that I will use for you in exchange for you ensuring that she cannot use this other gift against me anymore.
What gift would she use against you? We're not talking about mere words here.
A man died.
How does she continue to use that against you?
The ring he gave me, he could not put on the right hand.
So what would you like me to do?
I do not ask for you to kill her. Merely if the opportunity presents itself, you don't let her get away.
If I don't let her get away, what do I do with her?
Whatever you choose. I'm not asking you to murder Rokon. That's not what you need. You're a good person. You do good things. But if you see an opportunity where someone who is bad is going to do a bad thing, I wish you to intervene.
I can make that promise, especially with the person who laid the curse.
Then I can make this promise. As soon as your charming brother Riordan is up, I will remove that curse. Wouldn't want to do such a thing without him around. He might get upset that I did something to you.
I can see the merit in that, but if your word is true, I would think I would know it. The things that I'm hearing, I would stop hearing.
You will.
Both of you make me a perception check.
$12. That passive.
Well, that's persuasion.
Oh, persuasion. Wow, I can't read. Oh. 14.
You see it just for a moment, Visaria. In the shadow of a long tree, two glowing red orbs. You drive past it, so it's only in your line of sight for a moment before your Vardo passes past it.
How long has Riordan been asleep?
About 4 hours. It's
Good.
getting close.
She literally just reaches over and shoves him awake. Assuming, of course, that he is a good soldier and will wake very quickly for somebody reaching out into touching him.
Hold on a sec. Let me see. What should I roll here? I'll do perception. Maybe the second shake.
The second shake is a lot firmer, and she goes, you're supposed to be awake now. Honestly.
I've been awake. Hours.
Okay. Good. Then you saw the two red eyes that are watching us, and if you'll hold on a second and hold these, and she hands you the reins, and she turns and says, give me your hands, Ryokon.
Same as last time or a different way?
Same as last time, it does not matter. And she'll take her hands in, she'll take his hands in hers, and touching the finger and spinning the ring on her left hand, on her left index finger, she will whisk away the curse that her sister placed.
You spin the ring and you make your wish. And there's no sound or no magic, none that you can feel. Nobody feels different or notices anything different, except for Rookone. Rookone, make me an Arcana check.
I'm sorry, did you say athletics?
No. You feel lighter. You hear the wind whisper past you into your ear. There's no voice on it. Something has changed. Just like that.
I don't know. I feel different. They've stopped. What did you do?
As I said, it was a gift from my mother. From her mother, on back through the years.
Thank you.
Now, could you maybe deal with the thing that's following us? And she reaches over and takes the reins back from Riordan. I'm assuming you're going to need a hand free for this, for the very large sword that you hold.
Riordan would have, during this exchange, he would have wrapped the leads around the pommel of the wagon hitch and turned around and faced the opposite, like swung out over in the opposite direction, looking back from whence they came to see if he can see anything.
You would probably have to stand up to see over the top.
Yeah, I mean, he's climbing on the top if he has to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Honoria and Nova, you hear the creaking of wood as Sir Riordan climbs onto the frame at the top.
Those are some big raccoons. Hold on, wait a second.
Don't break it, don't break it, don't break it.
I don't think those are raccoons.
Sir Riordan, roll me an athletics check.
16.
You're able to keep from putting your foot in the wrong place or your knee in the wrong place as you climb up to the top. Nova and Honoria, what do you do when you hear the sound?
How much of the gem have I fixed with my mending skills and my puzzle piecing?
Roll me a. Are you proficient with any kind of tools?
Oh, Dawn. It would be easier to tell you what tools I'm not proficient in.
Well, roll me one that you think is appropriate for puzzle piecing.
What skills do you want to be based off? I have metalworking tools. I have woodworking. I have gem tools.
Do
Hold
gem.
On. Gem. Okay. Yeah. Tinker's tools, leather's tools, alchemist supply. Alchemist tools. I've got. All right. What stat do you want those based off of?
Let's call it an intelligence.
Cool. How about a natural 20?
So by this point, by the time you hear the creaking above you, you have, not only have you put the gem back together as well as you can, or you're even able to use your tools to kind of like reconnect pieces. And what you have is...
I also have the spell Mending, if that would help too.
Absolutely it would, yeah, to kind of solidify it. You have half of a bloodstone amulet. The shards are together. You can't tell if it was the lower or the upper half, but it's half of the amulet. And roll me an Arcana check.
Okay. 18.
You can tell now that you've pieced it back together that whatever magic was in this amulet before has mostly been dispersed. What lingers is a wild type of magic. You could use it for something else, but it doesn't have an inherent purpose. It must be given a purpose.
Yes, I think that sounds excellent. I will attach that to a little doohickey and just, put that on.
Perfect.
Yep. Take some chaotic, purposeless magic.
Add that to your character sheets inventory.
Okay.
I'm sure it'll be great. Noria, what are you doing?
I presume I would be looking up at where Reardon is stomping around on the top. And I know Reardon to be a man of logic, so something is happening. I am going to start making my way out to the door or the window to try and see what's happening.
You look out the back as Riordan climbs onto the top to look behind. Riordan, Honoria, you don't see two red glowing eyes in the shadow of a tree. You don't see Lord Soth. What you do see from the dotted trees and mostly tall grassland that you're moving through, on one side of you is a large ridge that seems to overlook the start of a growing desert. White sands that over a dune about a mile away begin to expand further and further. But behind you, in the other direction, you see a number of shapes stuck in the sky, on the ground, on top of trees, right side up, upside down. They are parchment thin. They have white pinpoints for eyes and white toothless smiles. Dozens of them.
My head's coming
They're
out.
frozen in the air.
Frozen.
And then they move. They flicker. In one place, smiling in one position, one moment, a little closer the next moment. They don't move, but they get closer every few instances. And as they do, the shape of their flock changes too. Sometimes they're on top of each other, sometimes they're around in a circle. That's what you see.
Riordan would bang on the top of the wagon and alert everybody. The wraiths. There are more wraiths.
All right. And Nova is gonna just pop halfway out a window and pull out her wand of fireballs. She's ready.
All right. Rookon.
He pops his head back out towards the front of the bardo. I'm like, you may want to go faster.
Well, there are 2 horses and 8 people, so, you do the math.
I got all
But
the
then-
math right here, and I'm going to reach forward and smack both of the horse asses.
Roll me an animal handling check. Oh, I really wanted to say it, but it works this time. You
It
don't
wasn't
get the
Honoria.
Honoria treatment. It wasn't Honoria. So Riordan, what are you doing? You're on top.
He pulls out Absolution and just stands to meet the charge.
Honoria.
I'm going to hold my action until Reardon charges and hold haste.
Vassaria.
She is, driving, but she still reaches down to where her sword is and slides it slightly out of the holster. And she has Bane ready, but she also has another thought that crosses her mind, but she wants to see what Reardon and Rakon do before she does so.
Right beside you, Honoria, Lily pops out of the back, her wooden sword in hand. She's looking back at these shapes too. There's no fear in her eyes. She looks stoic and proud, and for a moment, Honoria, she looks a lot like Sir Riordan, just very young.
Do I have enough time to flick out my dagger and give it to her? She needs a real weapon.
Absolutely. She takes it, she holds it in her left hand, and keeps the wooden sword in her right hand.
I don't have enough time to really say anything, so I just give her a stern look like, that's real steel.
She gives you a very grown-up nod when you hand her the little weapon. The horses begin to run faster in the opposite direction, but you turn and look back, and Riordan, you see this too, and Nova, you see this too. Those shapes, they don't have to run, they don't have to fly. Time is on their side and not yours, and they are closer and closer and smiling.
Like fireball range?
Absolutely.
You're going to break her stained glass ceiling?
Oops,
I mean,
I'm muted. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm asking if I can get into the wagon, or not into, if I can talk to somebody from the top of the wagon into the wagon.
I mean, you can see them. It's like a small window. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He would look in, and if he has time, he's going to keep one eye on them with absolution, and he's going to say to Lily, "You will need to head towards the desert." And then he will look at Tanis, "And you will need to fight this time."
Roll me a persuasion check.
14.
Tanis stands up from the corner of the bardo from the back of the wagon. Lorana reaches for him and squeezes his hand. He doesn't look back. He draws his sword and he moves towards the back of the wagon. Right as Nova launches her fireball at these creatures. But that is where we're going to end our session for tonight. Before the boom. Yay! So we'll start next session, next week, with initiative. You can all go ahead and roll me initiative now. I'll just go ahead and plug it in so we're all ready to go right from the start. We'll go around here in a minute and let everyone decompress, tell us what they're up to. I had a blast tonight. Prax, I haven't gotten to play with you before, but I had so much fun. I love Visaria. I really, really enjoyed her. Let's start with you. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm really doing good. Thank you all for letting me come play with you guys again. I love coming to hang out with you all. I love that Don is letting me play with diegetic and non-diegetic songs, so that's a fun thing.
I loved it.
But I love the whole story. I love what's going on. I can't wait to see what happens now that Rokon is not cursed by Inza. And yeah. Sorry, Kelvin. No, I'm not. But yeah. Hey all, you know me. I'm at Dirge on Twitter or Praxagorath as Meaphoria. As you see me hang out in the Twitch chat, you can find me on the Discord as Prax the Bard, and I write a lot of songs for this show, which you might see more of in the near future.
And I love the songs. I love the one that you sang tonight. I think that's my favorite of all the ones you've written so far. I just really love the lyrics in that song, and I thank you for being willing to open with that tonight. I loved it. Like I said, I really enjoyed getting to meet your character. She was fantastic. You're a fantastic player. I really liked all of the character interactions tonight. There's some really good interactions between the characters. It felt like slipping back into the story in the best way possible. And a lot of my favorite interactions and interesting interactions, seeing characters in ways we hadn't seen them before, was because Visari was there. That's one of the greatest parts about having awesome new characters enter the story, is you can get to see how all the dynamics shift a little bit like that. So I'm really excited for next week and to see more of Visaria. And just thank you so much for being here. It is a joy. It is a joy, and I'm glad to have finally gotten to play with you. Let's go on over to Lindy. Lindy, how are you doing?
I'm doing super spiffy. Tonight was interesting. I like everyone's interactions with each other, and really questioning if Ragone thought she was old. Nova's being chaotic evil. Nova is very mood swingy. Nova, she's going ups and downs and ups and downs. So this next fight's gonna be real interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, I just had a blast. I really adored Visaria and Nova's friendship. They're just like, hey, it's been a while. And I can't wait to see what the Whispering Beast replies to in that note. I'm sure it's going to be great. But you can find me online at Laugh Love Lindy on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, where I play and DM a bunch of tabletop RPGs. You can check out my channel every Monday and Tuesday evening for Mists of Ravenloft and Mondays in Exandria, 2 super fun weekly campaigns. And also we have our once a month campaign of Teenagers from Outer Space. This Saturday morning, Greg's going to be there at 10 a.m. Eastern to noon. So check it out. It's full of shenanigans, laughs, and good times. And we're crashing a wedding, so what could go wrong? Great.
Awesome. I miss Nova a lot. One of my, we've had some heavy episodes recently, and this session, it had its moments, but it was still really funny. That was my favorite part. Even Sir Riordan was cracking jokes. It was great. I really loved it. It was exactly what I needed. And I love seeing Chaotic Evil Nova, but I'm more excited to see Chaotic Evil Nova when a fight breaks out, which we'll get to do at least once next week. At least once. Let's go on over to Billy. Billy, how are you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great. This was so much fun, Prax. You brought some fucking grade A stuff tonight. It was awesome. Your interaction with Nova, is so cool because it's when you walk into a room and you instantly get the vibe. As soon as you guys started conversing, it just you could smell it in the air. It was vivid. It was beautiful. So thank you for that. It's nice to be back in this world. I know it's been with this particular crew. It's been 3 weeks, a month, something like that. It's been some time, but it's super nice and constantly appreciate it. Don, you're an awesome DM. Everybody that I'm playing with is awesome. This is so stress relieving and cathartic. It's awesome. I can't appreciate all y'all enough. You can follow me at Bill of the Forest on Twitter. You can catch me on Mondays at 6 p.m. for Realms Remembered, also on this channel, where I get to play with Don and not against Don. Sorry, I'm done. It was great. Thanks. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to getting to play with you. We haven't, I think the last time we actually played in a game together where we were both players was 4th edition. So it's been a minute.
You were Yuknon again.
Yep. Yeah, that's my Monday character. Was my 4th edition D&D character for a very long time. But more about that later. Tia, welcome back. How are you doing? How's Honoria?
I am doing much better physically, thank you. Honoria is, I think she's starting to lose her mind a little bit. I don't like playing chaotic evil in the crazy sense, because I feel like it's really kind of overused and overplayed and doesn't really suit chaotic evil. But Dawn, you are a master of timelines, and it's starting to even get hard for me as a player to keep up. In a good way, in a challenging way, not in a non-fun way. Prax, I love playing with you. I love hanging out with you. I loved your song at the beginning of the show. I'm scared for the future and terrified. Sorry, I tried to play my lethargy in character. I hope that didn't come across as like me not being interested in what was happening. But it was definitely a more reserved show for me today, which I think is needed. You can find me at roleplayers_TV on Twitter. On Mondays, we have our Age of Arcana going on, which is a D&D show run by Encounter Joshua. Lots of great people there. Wednesdays, you can find me here. I'm also now part of LFM Agency, and I can talk about it, but I can't really tell you too much about it at the moment. So I got hired for a new job, which means I'm going to be at PAX Unplugged. I can't wait to see all of you there. And I hope you all come to my party that I'm going to be throwing on the Thursday night for influencers and friends of influencers. Little PAX pre-party for you. That's me.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm fingers crossed it works out. I think a lot of people are going to go to PAX Unplugged this year. If you're watching the show, go. It's awesome. We had a great time last year, and it's just a lot of really good people in a cool city full of cheesesteaks. So, it's a good time. It's a very good time. Before we go to Greg, I'll say I'm Don at Donathan Fry on Twitter. I am in Realms Remembered on Monday night's new D&D campaign right here on this channel. Greg's the DM. It's Boz Lerman meets D&D. It's a very big mystery right now because we just started, and I get to play one of my favorite characters I've ever played, and it's been a long time since I've played him, so I'm excited about that. It's a lot of fun. You can check Greg's Twitter. He can tell you about it, but there is a YouTube out for the first couple of shows, so if you haven't checked it out, go back and watch the first couple of episodes. They're a couple hours long a piece, and they introduce the characters. They're awesome. I write stuff. If you go to my Twitter and check out my pinned account, you'll see the DM's Guild adventure that I released. I wrote it with Kiana, who I think is still in chat. It's a solo adventure. It's great for new players. It's good for old players who want to play in a new way. And it's all a preview, a prelude to Descent into Avernus, and we've been very happy with the reactions and reception we've had so far. It's a lot of fun to write, but I do other stuff. You can find out about that if you follow me. I had a great time tonight. Thank you, everyone. I missed y'all so much. Thank you to everybody in chat for being here and supporting us and having fun along with us. I'm going to send it over to Greg here in a second, but I do want you all to make me charisma saving throws.
Oh no, Don, why?
It's optional for Nova and it's optional for Tia. You can do it for funsies, but you can't get any more chaotic or any more evil.
I just want to see if I actually can succeed on this save.
Maybe you'll break the curse. Nope.
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 It's fine.
Greg, did you roll a natural 20?
I did, buddy.
That means, because you can't become any more lawful or any more good, what it does mean is that your current corruption goes back to 0. What was your corruption at previously?
6, I believe. 6?
It goes all the way back to 0. You are literally unchanged from the moment we saw you.
Wait, so you can't be more lawful, he can't be more good, can he be more fluffy?
That's all. That's great. That's role play.
I think that was the dad jokes he was telling tonight.
I mean, hang out with a bard, and what happens to your charisma saving throw?
I cannot believe it's been like
do we
40
level up
episodes.
too when we do this? Is there a level
Mine
up?
stays the same.
No, you do not level up. Not yet. You guys just leveled up.
So pure.
Anyways, that's it. Nobody failed, so nobody gains corruption. The only people who failed are as evil as it comes, so that's just how it goes.
Give all my corruption to Lorona.
Before I send it to Greg, though, I do love both of your takes on chaotic evil. I think it's a great example of, hey, you can play evil characters without making them insane. I'm going to kill everybody. You can.
We haven't gotten to combat yet.
That's true. Well, I won't speak too soon.
There's some people that were hard nopes that have changed to maybes in the line of fire.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how all that plays out next week, but give it over to my buddy Greg. Greg, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great. Apparently, I'm coughing now terribly. So, in conjunction, I think that the dad jokes were a combination of allergy and cold medication. So, don't expect those to continue. That's not really canon. That wasn't, Riordan saying those things. It was Greg being an idiot. Anyway, yeah, Greg, Grimjack21502 on the Twitch, part of the Tales from the Grim. On the Twitter, part of the Tales from the Grim team on the Twitch. A lot of fun stuff. Realms Remembered on Monday night, Star Trek on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. Realms Remembered, more D&D. If you want to come check us out, please do. It'll be the first official episode this Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bad Moon Rising follows that at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Back around the horn here for May Black Roses Bloom at 8 p.m. where we're going to start with a fight. So that would be awesome on Wednesday. The other thing I'd like to announce is that we are doing a podcast. Our very first podcast here on Tales from the Grim. It is called Fury Roll, and it is Descent into Avernus, as we are going to take that Salty Ginger, Serena Marie, my buddy Trey, who you might know from over on WebDM when we were doing our Spelljammer stuff, and Edelyn, who you might know as being our DM tonight's better half. But we're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to be playing through the campaign proper and having some fun. Some interesting characters, some fantastic art. All that will be coming your way very, very, very soon. So just be on the lookout for all that fun stuff, and we'll get into it. But be back around here. I can't wait to play, because the one thing that wasn't affected by cold medication tonight was that I have 0 corruption. It has been, everybody come with me on a little journey. It has been a year, and from the very first episode when this corruption mechanic was introduced, I heard nothing but, I can't wait until the knight falls to corruption. I can't wait until his sword absolution is renamed Vengeance or something like that. I would like to say that we are almost a year into this. I have no corruption. Incorruptible. Haha.
Must be nice.
I am done gloating. No, the joke is that Dawn and I talked about this, and my corruption was a big, huge problem for me with Riordan. And I said, well, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. And this is the last time that Roll20 is ever going to reward me to keep a character that I created the way I wanted it. And so I appreciate so much everybody that's contributed to redemption and things like that has saved my butt as Riordan. So all joking aside, Legion has saved me numerous times. Roll20 has saved me. I need to make sure I kill that goat for Eric Vulgaris. Let me write that down. And
Eric.
I'm done. So Dawn, anything else, my friend?
Nope, that's it.
I said enough. So everyone, as the campfire goes down, there is only one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s unless it's on your corruption saving throw. But you can always roll play. We'll see you next time, friends.